Boys and girls, welcome back to DRL TV. This is the Molnar Automotive Cup Series at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the 2018 All-Star Race. I'll try to not to make it too lengthy as the race gets ready to start here, but I'm going to try and explain how this works. I'll be joined in the booth eventually by my usual broadcasting partner, Martin Wenzel, at some point, but the event's gone live a little earlier than originally expected, so he'll be just a few minutes late. So here's how this thing is going to work, guys. All these guys are going to basically the All-Star race is for anybody who came in pole or won a race last year, and then so far this year. So we had, I think it was 16 people that were invited to the All-Star race, but we wanted to fill it up with at least 21. So this is a preliminary race before the real race goes live at 9:45 p.m. And as of right now, the top 5 guys that finish, 1 through 5 in this race will be allowed into the All-Star race, and then they'll qualify for that one and run that race as usual. And if all the guys that we invited, the 16 that did get invited, if they don't all show up, they will continue to fill their slots until we have a 21-car field with guys from this preliminary race. So these gentlemen are going around qualifying at the moment, and then we're going to get this preliminary race underway. Like I said, the top 5, maybe more than 5, will be in the All-Star race at 9:45 p.m. Eastern for our regular All-Star race with the Dynasty Racing League's Molnar Automotive Cup Series. So, let's see. I'm going to try to explain, too, how the All-Star race itself is going to work. There's going to be 3 stages to the All-Star race, so you guys are going to have to be patient during the race. We're going to be bringing out manual cautions and things like that, and the race control is going to control the field, essentially. So they're cutting drivers as the race runs. Basically, after 40 laps, there's a mandatory, 4-tire pit stop 20 laps into the race. At the end of 40 laps, the last 5 drivers in line are going to be cut from the race, so they will be asked to park their cars. And then we're going to run a 30-lap stage. At the end of that 30-lap stage, first through 5th will be inverted. So 5th will go to 1st, 4th will go to the 2nd, etc. They will be inverted, and again, the last 5 are going to be cut, and 8 through 16 will also be inverted. There are payouts to these guys for the different stages. $10 for the first stage winner, $10 for the second stage winner, and $20 for the third stage. The third stage, there's going to be a full inversion of all the drivers, so everyone, first will go all the way to 16th, 16th will go to first, etc. And again, at the end of that stage, that'll be a 20-lap stage. At the end of that stage, the winner will take home $20 in iRacing credit. So it's going to be pretty interesting. A lot to pay attention to. And it should be a really fun night here with the DRL. We got about 1 minute and 30 seconds left of this qualifying session, and we're going to get this preliminary race underway. This will be a 20-lap race to decide who moves into that official All-Star. But if I could get any feedback from anybody out there watching, I believe we got audio levels fixed. I just want to check as far as audio goes for desktop audio currently. If you guys can hear iRacing. As far as I know, you should be able to hear me, but definitely want to check on that. Go down to a close-up camera view and see, make sure that we have audio correct here. I'm gonna need somebody to rev their engine. We'll see when it goes back live. Make sure we're good as far as audio is concerned. Thank you, Tater, Robert Armstrong, Gordon. Thanks everybody who's tuning in to watch the race. This all-star race is gonna get exciting. We'll pull it up as these guys grid up here. See who we have in first through. We have in this race currently. Looking like 15 are currently in the race. Sean Hughes got the pole. See if it pulls up a correct grid. There we go. We got Sean Hughes in first. Daniel Hallis qualified second. John Theodore third. Brandon Dalton qualified in the fourth position. Eric Johnson fifth. Mike Springer sixth in that awesome Reese's car that I love so much. Jim Westerfield seventh. John Mullins eighth. Dustin Musial in ninth position. Aaron James in 10th. At Chris James in 11th. Joshua Wakefield in 12th in the number 35. It looks like it. I don't know why it didn't play the last couple guys there, but do have Chris James, Jonathan Schwartz, and David Wellborn bringing up the rear of the field here. So Charlotte's changed a little bit this year. They did make some changes to the package. I know it's not easy to race these cars on this track. They get very loose. They don't like to stick to the track at all. If you turn a little too hard in the corners, the car will go out from underneath you. I know from first-hand experience. So. Did you see the board up there at the top? That will change here in just a minute. Pandolf and Pope will come off of there as they are not actually in this race. James Pandolf is race control for this evening. He's got the toughest job this evening. All these guys are going to have to pay very close attention and do a lot of work to make sure that they're in the right position and they get where they're supposed to be and try to make this thing as timely as possible. So. A lap counter will be good for this race. I don't believe it will be any good for the All-Star race because we're kind of just running our custom laps there. So, like I said, that'll be a 40 lap, a 30 lap, and a 20 lap, 3 different stages. So your lap counter up in the top will not actually be of any good in that race. To be honest, I'm not sure if we can get one here either. Come again?
Jordan here. Can you use some help in the broadcast room?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to come in and hang out with me for a few, Martin should be attending us here in a few minutes. Awesome. There we go. As we see the, yeah, I just know there's a lot that goes into it, trying to explain to these guys what's going to happen this evening, and we did get the lap counter there. I wasn't sure if we'd get a lap counter, a proper one for this race or not, but we do have lap 1 of 20 here. Sean Hughes hits that green flag and looks to be pretty comfortable out there in first.
It's an excellent start, and hopefully that's going to track position matters here. It tends to be a one groove track after about 10 laps.
Yeah, I was just telling everybody I raced this thing in a couple of the different cars already this year, and Charlotte's definitely changed a bit.
Oh yeah, and this session here being cooler than what the officials were, well, not the official, the Cup race, and what the officials are this week. Definitely track feeling difference as well.
Sean Hughes seems to be extremely comfortable in the car. I mean, he's knocking a third of a second. You know, he's smoking these guys every lap by. Looks like he's got Charlotte all figured out.
Absolutely. His last lap was 0.2 faster than John Theodore in second.
We see Theodore there in second place in the 89, Corey Bushcar, and then right behind him, Daniel Hallis in the 72. We haven't seen a lot of good things out of Mr. Hallis as of late. Been having some struggles, it seems, the past few weeks. You know, maybe letting anger kind of get in his way, and you can't let that type of stuff go to your head. So hopefully he can turn that all around tonight and put together a good all-star race and be ready to go into one that actually counts for points next week and show these guys that he belongs here.
Absolutely, he's in a good spot to do it because the top 5 will automatically transfer into the main, should say. So he's in a good position to walk out of here looking good.
You say good position, but you can't say it's a one-groove track as he tries to take the low line there on John Theodore. Hopefully he can get around him nice and clean, and he does. Looks like he gets that position pretty easily.
The lap times have already fallen down. Sean Hughes' last lap was a 28.7. That's 0.5 slower than their faster lap.
Yeah, he ran a 28.3 as his best lap, now at a 28.7. So has slowed down a little bit, but he is still consistently running, you know, 0.2 faster than everybody else in this field. So impressive on his part. 0.3 faster than the second fastest guy, which was looks like, who's that? Mike Springer in the number 12. He has a position to make up, currently sitting in 6th. Definitely want to get into that top 5, guys. Like I explained earlier, they're most likely, as we invited everybody from last season as well, I'm going to go ahead and say that there will probably be more than 5 people that move on from this race and get inserted into that actual all-star race, as I doubt everyone from last season will show up, but only time will tell.
It's interesting in the back between John and Joshua Wakefield. They're running kind of a higher line. I don't know if they're trying to save tires or what their strategy is.
Yeah, you know, I know John Theodore does a whole lot of iRacing. He's got a whole YouTube channel and stuff, and I know he plays the game a lot. I'm sure he got his practice in here, and, you know, that might just be where he's more comfortable, Drew. Got Jonathan Schwartz there is in the pits. I guess he must have given up, or he just didn't post a qualifying time. So he decided to go ahead and sit this one out.
It's unfortunate for him, but Sean Hughes is definitely checked out. But their lap times have kind of evened out between Sean and John Theodore. They're running almost the same lap time.
Yeah, actually, that last time by, I mean, we're still about a 10th off of one another on the last time by, but I mean, Sean Hughes, 2-second lead, only 9 laps into this race at Charlotte, which is a very quick, you know, some people say easy track to run, but you normally don't see that big of a disparity here at this track.
Little battle between 4th, 5th, and 6th.
We'll go back there. You got Mike Springer on that inside line, still wants his position back, and Eric Johnson pushing hard to get Brandon Dalton out of his way in the 85. Daniel Hallis had taken that position from John Theodore briefly, but he seems to be falling off a little bit now. He has all of these guys, 4 or 5 of them, right on his tail. It's a tough position to be in for these guys. Some of them, you know, could care less about the win, or, you know, we're all competitive. Of course we want to win, but you want to keep your car clean. And, you know, you're not shooting for a win right now. You're shooting for a top 5. And, you know, a couple of these guys probably know in their mind that they're really shooting for a top 6 or 7 at least. So try to keep the car clean, run the laps, and get a good finishing position.
Oh, yeah. Brandon Dalton had a good run on Daniel Hallis that in turn 3 and 4 in that last lap. Let's see what he can make of it, though. Daniel's tending to run high.
Yeah, Dalton there in the 85's got Mike Springer all over him. Springer goes to the inside of Dalton. And we're close to 3 wide racing here as Eric Johnson takes the high line. Those corners are looking a little shaky.
Oh, yeah. There's more grip than what you think there is, but it's just a little ploy until you start running your tires, because then you start sliding. And this is all a battle for the transfer spot, so this is probably going to be more intense than it would be for the lead.
Oh, definitely. I'm not even looking up there at those two guys. Hopefully one of them doesn't make a mistake, but we've only got 8 laps left here. And 5 of these guys are getting into the next race. This is definitely where all the action's at. The 85 of Brandon Dalton, 72 of Daniel Hallis. We have the 12 of Mike Springer, Eric Johnson in the 21, and the 66 of Aaron James, who currently sits 7th. You know, I'd hate to see him make a mistake, Jordan, because it might all be for naught. You know, they might all get into the next race.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, got to keep your car clean. Interesting, though, if you're watching 3 and 4, seems 72 is letting off way earlier than the rest of those 4 cars there. I wonder if it's going to bite them in the end of the game.
Yeah, I think it might have been that might be why, you know, some of the guys felt held up by the 72 there, and why they all kind of stacked up the way they did. As Eric Johnson bounces off the wall just a little bit. These guys are 3 wide in the middle of a corner at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Wow. I don't envy them right now.
Yeah, a little bump from Mark to Daniel there and exit the corner.
And by Mark, who you talking about? Eric Johnson?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at
we do have a Mark Johnson in the league. That is definitely Eric Johnson running in the 21. I know you don't broadcast these things every Tuesday night, Jordan, but I can just look at the car and know who it is at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
You said that, and I was thinking to myself, wait a second, Mark Johnson's not in this race. What's he talking about? Daniel Hallis now back into 6th position. Oh, man, he better hope one of those guys don't show up right now, Jordan. Because he had the position. He qualified well. Like I said, he hasn't been stringing together an entire race as of late. Now he's fallen into 6th. That is the cutoff line for the next race. So. But I just got word from race control that Jonathan Schwartz, the gentleman we talked about earlier who did pit in the number 58, he was not supposed to be in this race session. He is already a lock for the 9:45 session, as he did win a race earlier this year. So that was a mistake on DRL's part. You see David Wellborn just came down pit road. Looks like he's checked out for the evening.
Unfortunate for David Wellborn. He also needs to be able to put together a good end-to-end race and kind of get his points back into playoff mode here.
Yeah, you know, we talked a couple weeks ago about him being kind of Mr. Consistent. He's never that guy who's up there running for 1st and 2nd every race, but he's always hanging out around 10th. And if something goes wrong, he's doing better than that. And these last few races, it just seems like he can't even sneak his way in the top 15 lately. So hopefully things get better for him. He is a broadcaster here with the DRL on Monday nights. And they take the white flag. Daniel Hallis goes completely sideways. No, he did not. Daniel Hallis wrecks his car. That's going to take him all the way back to the 12th position. Oh, he's not happy. He's spinning his car out in the infield. He better go finish this race, or, well, I guess David Wellborn couldn't even make up the ground anyway. So unless a lot of guys don't show up for that next race, Daniel Hallis ruins his chances on the very last lap of this prelim race. Oh, what an unfortunate ending for him.
Very unfortunate, and he just looks like he got loose all by himself. And it's quite interesting, though. Brandon Dalton was actually putting a little bit faster laps than John Theodore, so we might have some interesting racing coming up here in the main event.
Yeah, just slightly. Both him, Mike Springer, Eric Johnson. Actually, those guys kind of reversed order. So Eric Johnson in 5th position had faster lap the last few than Springer did. Springer was a little quicker than Dalton. Dalton was a little quicker than Theodore. And then, of course, they were all trumped by the 15 of Hughes. But, yeah, I can't wait, man. I hope that Hughes has some competition in the next race after seeing how this one ended. I mean, a 3.5-second gap between 1st and 2nd and only a 20-lap race. Sean Hughes, they better look out for him. Let me get Hughes in here, see if we can get him in for a quick interview. Sean Hughes, where you at? May not be loaded up into the chat channels yet. I'm not seeing him. So let me, not that he's going to be happy with it, but we're going to pull Daniel Hallis in and get a quick interview with him. Daniel Hallis, do you have a copy, sir?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Hey, man, I know you got the start you wanted. Definitely not the finish you were looking for there. We'd have to have a lot of guys drop out of that next All-Star race for you to have a fighting chance at this point. What went wrong?
I just burned it up, man. Like, I went out there and I ran really, really hard, and better drivers caught me, passed me. It is what it is.
Yeah, it seems like the car just started to get away from you. I was coasting up in those corners real hard those last few laps, and then just lost it. Did you put and tell me what it's like racing out there? Did you just put too much gas in the car too quick? I know if you get on it real fast, these things are real hard to keep under you.
Well, it's weird. The practice session I did by myself, if you could arc it, it was good. Earlier in this lobby, if like you could arc it, but for whatever reason, my car in particular, it felt like no matter how I tried to enter the turn from like mid up, like mid turn where it's rolling, it just push and push, push. So I think I was just trying to be a little too aggressive with it too much. But thanks to the Northeast Ohio Ghostbusters for letting me get on board. Put them out there. So maybe I'll make it, maybe I won't. Either way, I'll be there for race control. So
Awesome. Well, Daniel, thanks so much for everything you do for the league and stuff, man. And I hope you can put together a good race or two coming up here soon. I know this one is just for fun, but when we get back to these points, me and Jordan were talking about it during the race. You got to string together a whole race, man. You do really well for portions, and we see you up there as maybe one of these top 5 drivers, and then something seems to go wrong every week. So we're wishing you the best of luck, and hopefully we'll see you back next week, man.
all right, man. Thanks a lot. Look forward to what we're about to get into. So enjoy yourself up there, Ryan, and I'll be in touch with you if I'm race control.
All right, buddy. We'll see you around. Well, Jordan, have you heard any official word yet as to who's gotten in and who hasn't?
Well, I just joined the session. Let me read off to you a couple names here. 1 second. David Wright has joined, Thomas Harmon, Anthony Burrows, Chad Presnell, Marcus Ruckman, Wade Hustad, Mike Springer, Brandon Dalton, James Pandolf, I guess, as RC, Daniel Hallis again as RC, maybe driver, depending on who shows up, and myself. So I'm fixing to go ahead and put down some practice laps because I'm also in this race. So thanks for having me in the booth.
No problem, man. I guess we're currently missing a few guys. Chris Stouffer, Connor Lane is missing, Blake Griffith, Austin Hakes, Tommy Bordeaux. So at least maybe, wow, Daniel Hallis might even sneak into this. I mean, if we have 5 or 6 guys not show up, we're going to have the 5 we originally planned and maybe 5 or 6 more. It would suck if he misses the cut by one guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember asking, I forget who it was last week. Maybe it was Eric Wolf, if he would be able to join. He wasn't even sure. I saw him put into form, but some of these folks, they work on Tuesday evenings, so it's hard for them to make sure they get here in time for these races every week. So
yes, sir. All right, Jordan. Well, good luck out there tonight, man. We'll you got that nice qualifying spot at Talladega, snuck your way into this one. So wish you the best of luck, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, guys, I'm going to go to a brief break. I'm going to go to a commercial real quick, and we'll be right back. Hopefully I can get the lobby loaded up, and we'll get right into the next portion of this session. Boys and girls, I am still here. We are still getting the kinks worked out, trying to jump in that next session and get ready to watch these guys run a few practice laps and maybe get a couple interviews before we go live on the next race. So give me just a couple minutes and we'll be back at you live. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. The DRL TV and the Dynasty Racing League, the Molnar Automotive Cup Series at Charlotte for the All-Star race. So the graphics on the screen there says 100 laps. This is actually a 90-lap race. So those 3 stages I talked about in the last race, there will be a 40-lap stage 1, a 30-lap stage 2, and a 20-lap stage 3. We will have 5 drivers eliminated after each stage, and drivers will be inverted. I think 1st through 5th is inverted after a stage, and 6th through 16th gets inverted as well. And then on the last stage, at the beginning of the last stage, everybody gets inverted. So the guy in last place suddenly gets 1st place, and vice versa. So should be a really exciting race to come. We have about looks like we got 12 minutes, or actually 7 minutes until qualifying is going to start up here. So Martin, I don't know. By the way, I want to welcome Martin Wenzel to the booth. Martin, in the last race, we caught that prelim race here. I was in the booth with Jordan Gonzalez, but Sean Hughes just ran away from everybody. It was a 20-lap race, and he had a 3.5-second lead over the rest of the field.
Well, that's going to be interesting to watch. Yeah, Sean Hughes back out there.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him in this race. As of right now, I don't know if he is in here at the moment. Oh, he is in here.
Yeah, he's
currently
in here. He's
sitting
sitting
with
on
the
pit road.
4th best time in this practice. Mike Springer has a better time than him, but Mike Springer didn't do so hot in the last race. So Anthony Burrows, a typical mainstay up there towards the front, and Wade Hustad have also posted excellent practice times. So
yeah,
Mr.
Marcus
Hughes,
Ruckman back.
Yeah. Marcus Ruckman decided to show up tonight. He was a winner of one of our races last season. I don't know how many he's been in this season. Maybe only 1 or 2, but
Yeah.
I know he did race in our winter truck series, so I know he likes the trucks. I see him in officials quite a bit.
Marcus is doing that Road to Pro.
Oh, is that what it is? That's why he probably can't show up most nights. So he is actually off for Road to Pro this week, and then so he was able to show up for this All-Star race. Kind of cool. Definitely welcome him. Right now we're following Wade Hustad up here in the grandstand view.
And then just in case, I don't remember hearing you say it, Ryan, but everyone from that first race was invited to this one since we didn't have the invited people, previous winners, you know, people that have moved on from last season to this season that haven't come back. There wasn't enough fill there, so we went ahead and invited everyone. I'm going to do race controls, so it should be interesting to see what the huge field that we have. And good luck in the booth tonight, guys. I'll be bouncing in and out with you.
Sounds good, buddy. Good luck trying to control the field down there. I know it's not going to be easy. So, guys, what he's talking about, like I said in the last race, we had planned on 5 guys to move over from that first session. There was, you know, 5 of them were going to get in because we only had 16 invited drivers, and we wanted a field of 21, but not enough of the drivers of the 16 showed up. Or, you know, not everybody showed up, and there was enough of a disparity there where we could invite everyone from that first session to join this race. So you guys will get to see David Wellborn in this race. All the guys that were in that previous preliminary race will also make it into this one. And again, I can't wait to see Sean Hughes run some laps around this track. Got Chad Presnall there on the outside of Wade Hustad in the 32. Presnall's had a very good couple weeks the last few weeks, so.
Yeah, he picked up a win. He won at Kansas, right? I believe so.
Yeah,
he won that race at Kansas, yep.
Yeah, he snuck out that, what was it, last lap victory, I think it was. Or right before that last caution came out, he ended up getting the win. So.
Yeah, a couple weeks in a row with Jonathan Schwartz up there. You know, getting a little screwed by circumstances, restarting in first. And it seems to have been catching Wade Hustad. It's been causing him the most trouble on those last 2 races with all that. You know, the wheel spin, the tire spin at Dover, and then last week I think he got into Jonathan Schwartz a little bit, and a couple of them he went 3 wide, and
yeah,
so
only only so much he can do. He's definitely put himself in a good position to win some races, and hasn't pulled it out every single week. But
yeah, well, I mean, some of these guys like Wade Hustad and Burrows, a number of these guys they've already locked themselves into the playoffs. So you want to get every win you can get, and that is playoff points, but isn't the end of the world. Jonathan Schwartz already has 2 wins, and the last 2 weeks he's been looking for that 3rd win.
Actually, I think, was it last week? Maybe we're getting it mixed up. I think Jonathan Schwartz ended up winning the Cup Series last week, and he lost it. He screwed himself in the Grand National Series, I thought.
No, it's been the last 2 weeks where he's restarted that last restart's been him in first, but at Dover he was had heavy damage after he got hit by Cedarius Jackson during the pacing.
Yep.
And then at Kansas the pace car was so slow to get around him that he was already in the near the start finish line and wasn't able to pit with everyone else. Eric Wolf was just sitting there waiting right before pit road for the pace car to pass him, and then he and the rest of the field were able to pit. Jonathan Schwartz, old tires, has to restart first, and nothing he can really do about that. Drivers are doing getting a lot of I don't know what you want to call it, having a little bit of a driver's meeting right now, trying to figure out how this is all going to go.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to need to, communicate with each other heavily and pay attention and make sure everyone stays on the same page and that they get lined up properly. Yeah, so last week you were right, Martin. That was Chad Presnall snuck in that victory last week. Eric Wolf took
so he's locked in the playoffs.
Jonathan Schwartz took third there. I thought Jonathan Schwartz ended up sneaking out a win. Was it the Truck Series that he ended up winning last week then? I thought he ended up getting a win. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he just keeps getting screwed from first place.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah, I got it pulled up right now. I'm trying to look through and find out exactly what happened.
I'm looking at this. Let's see what the All-Star race thing here. We have a mandatory 4-tire pit stop on lap 20 in that first stage.
Yes, sir.
So it sounds like that's what they're all talking about. It's like, oh, and I'm wondering how you're gonna. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't take 4 tires after 20 laps when everyone's going in. So
I think
assume everyone
they have to. It's mandatory. That
yeah.
They take
Well, if everyone's going in, if everyone has to go in, I mean, you're able. My question is kind of like, how are they going to control that? How are you going to? Because iRacing doesn't really allow you to see what people are actually doing in their pit stall. But why wouldn't if you're down pit road, why aren't you taking 4 tires?
There would be no reason anybody wouldn't. They would come down pit road because they'd get caught if they didn't. And again,
yeah, they have to anyway.
Even if you did try to not take tires, we can see it up here in the booth. I can show exactly how long people are down pit road.
Well, yeah, any advantage you're gonna have is gonna clearly be able to be shown. I mean, it's gonna be like a 2-second stop or something, and that's gonna be the advantage you're going for. You're not gonna sit in there for 12 seconds and not take tires.
Right. So, anybody who's watching the race out there, if I could ask anybody on YouTube, our viewers, how does quality look at the moment? I'm kind of watching it back on my screen, and I don't know. Doesn't seem as good as it has in the past, but that just could be because I'm watching my own stream. So if anybody could give me feedback there, would be awesome as compared to other weeks. Not sure I will be able to fix it, but I'd like to get to the bottom of why it's not working. There are things like, Netflix that eat up all your bandwidth, so.
All right, so I just informed the gentleman, as you're probably watching them out there qualify, if a caution comes out, these guys have to do a mandatory green flag stop. They have to get 4 tires on lap 20. So it's going to be interesting for you guys to watch this, but as they come around on lap 20, they have to pit, and then basically it counts over 21. If there's a caution, then like let's say caution goes in between lap 18 and lap 21. As soon as the green flag drops, they are required to go down pit road for 4 tires and then go. There is no merge rule for this green flag stop. So as soon as they come off pit road, they can go. They just have to follow, you know, posted speeds and stuff. But
They should try to be a gentleman and stay out of people's way, however, right?
right, you'd think. Like when I did my test session earlier today, after 20 laps, like these guys are able to run low 28s. I was about a half second lower or slower than that in a sense, but I was running 30, 39s, 31 2s. So the field's going to be a lot slower if it goes green all the way. But, oh, and if their caution comes out during the stages, they can go down pit road. It's just they forfeit their position, if you will, while the race is going on. So it's not like they have to go 40 laps on one set of tires in a sense.
So they can't. So if a yellow comes out lap 18, 19, 20, they can't go down pit lane during that yellow.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah,
They just give up their position, and they're all going to have to pit immediately after the green flag drops anyway, so they might as well stay out.
Yeah.
The only guys who
Okay,
will
so-
come down pit road during a caution will be the guys who really need damage fixed.
Right.
So now let me ask you this. If on lap 18 they get a caution, does lap 19 under caution and 20 and 21 count towards that first 20 laps?
Yes. The first stage is 40 laps. Green and yellow flags count.
Okay, and then the second and third stage are green flag laps only, correct?
Correct.
Perfect.
And bottom 5 get cut out of stage 1. Bottom 5 get cut out of stage 2. And that
Yeah,
full
a little
inversion.
going.
You might
That's
see
gonna
some
be crazy.
sandbagging. I don't know.
Some people purposely suck in at the end of stage 2 to get that first spot at it as stage 3 begins. We'll see what happens. Jordan Gonzalez there as he comes around. It looks like wasn't satisfied with the first qualifying lap he set. Decided to reset the car and give it another go.
Well, at the end of stage 2, you're gonna have to really figure out where you have to be cut. I mean, so how many cars are going to be racing to start this race?
Should be close to 21,
I think
22.
we're gonna have. I think we're only gonna have
18,
20.
19, 20. Yeah, 20, 21. We'll see who all shows up out there. Then you cut 5. You cut 5. Yeah, people are gonna have to really be figuring out where they want to finish. I mean, you're gonna want to finish what 11th or 10th. Then you get to restart that stage 3 in first. But if you finish too low, then you get cut. So it will be a little tricky there. Depends how tight the field is.
We have Mr. Burrows
stage.
headed around the track right now. Brandon Dalton looks like he might have sandbagged. Jonathan Theodore, Mark Johnson, all of them with 40-second laps. Maybe they got into the wall on their first and decided to post a slow second to make sure that they didn't get in any trouble. But
Stage 2, you only have 1st through 5th and 8th through 16th getting inverted. So, 6th and 7th, they're not going anywhere.
Oh no, I mean going into stage 3, right? And stage 3, then it's a full inversion. So at the end of stage 2, right?
yeah, I would say
Right.
if I'm sitting in that what is it 8th through 16th, if I'm sitting in that 8th position at the end of the first stage, I'm gonna make sure I stay in the back after that. Right? I'm sitting in the 8th position. I just got bumped to 16th. Why would I not just run in the 16th the rest of the time? And then as soon as stage 3 begins, I'm in first. Definitely going to make things interesting.
You want to get up from 16th though, because the
Well,
bottom
no.
5 are cut.
Oh,
So,
that's right.
you
You want to get up to like
Bottom
10th
five
or
is the eighth.
something, and
Right. So you fight your way
so
back up.
there's
to-
gonna be all that. Yeah, if you're trying to really game the system,
you better
game that,
make
have to
sure
figure
you're
out,
in the
like,
right
how many
position.
guys are getting, what's the position that's the final cut position. Otherwise, yeah. So let's see, how many drivers do we have?
Looks like we're finished with qualifying here. Is that we have Jonathan? Who's that on the pole? Oh, is that
Jonathan
Anthony
Schwartz.
Is it Jonathan Schwartz
What?
on the pole?
That's what I see.
Yeah, my whole timing screen gets messed up and this and
Yeah.
that. We're gonna go
We
down
got
and
Jonathan,
look at the grid here.
Jonathan Schwartz, Marcus Ruckman on the front
Yeah,
row.
Schwartz takes first. Marcus Ruckman in his first race back gets second. Wade Hustad, 1,000th of a second behind him. Thomas Harmon fourth. Anthony Burrows fifth. Eric Johnson sixth place. Where's Sean Hughes at? David Wellborn gets seventh. Brandon Dalton gets eighth.
Sean
David
Hughes didn't
Wright
set a lot.
ninth. Mike Springer gets 10th. Chris James in 11th. Mark Johnson in 12th position. Aaron James 13th. John Theodore 14th. Got Jim Westerfield in 15th. And again, for whatever reason, my grid is cutting off after half the drivers instead of showing me the entire field. I'm not sure why that's happening, but we have quite a few guys out here tonight. Looks like we have exactly 20 drivers. So James Pandoff, you see up there, and Daniel Hallis, John Mullins, and Michael Kazi. They are not racing this evening.
So you have 20 drivers after this. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, we have 2 drivers that didn't put a lap out, so they're gonna end up having to serve a drive-through here.
Yeah, and if these guys get that drive-through penalty, that's extremely unfortunate. It kind of makes me want to cry at this point. Sean Hughes just ran away with that lead in the first race, and now he's going to go a lap down almost instantly. He's going to have to pray for a caution in his first 20 laps, I would say, for him to even stand a chance. And, you know, he's going to have the position over, who was that didn't qualify with him? The 55, I think, Chad Presnell. So
Presnell. He's
going to have to, you know, make a position up on Presnell and make sure he stays in front of him. Otherwise, his race is over. You know, he's got to pray for a caution and keep that position ahead of Presnell. There's no way he can race back after being a drive-through penalty at Charlotte. You're a lap down.
Yeah. So bottom 5 are cut. So you're gonna want to be in that 15th spot is the important spot. Jim Westerfield currently in that spot. So top 15 will make it to the second stage. After 40 laps. 20 laps is that mandatory 4-tire pit stop. And then after stage 2, we'll be down to 10 drivers. So that'll make it pretty easy, actually. So at the end of stage 2, you're going to want to be in 10th place. And then you get to restart at stage 3 in first.
Yeah, so for everybody watching under this first section, you can watch this lap counter. These guys are going green until 40 laps.
Green flag.
They are required to make a pit stop on lap 20. So we got Chad Presnell instantly comes down pit road there and takes his drive-through penalty. You know, that's the fortunate part, Martin. He was that very back car, right? So you can kind of game the system in iRacing, hang back a little bit, and then drive straight down pit road. I don't know if the race control is allowing that here or not, but the 55 could take his penalty instantly, whereas Sean Hughes could not take his penalty instantly. He's going to have to come down pit road this lap. Otherwise, he would have been served a black flag for passing under caution. So
I never thought of that, yeah.
Yeah, as that very last driver, you can do it as long as you don't enter.
The green flag has come out, yeah.
Right, as long as you don't enter pit road before that green flag comes out, you can do it as the last car. Sean Hughes didn't have a choice, has to take it on the next lap.
On the outside.
And now he's going to have to fight to catch up to Chad Presnell.
Ooh, David Wellborn got a run on Brandon Dalton, almost put a bumper on him there.
We got Jonathan Schwartz still running in first. Wade Hustad sits in second. Marcus Ruckman third. Hustad quickly took that position away from Ruckman. You see Schwartz running a different paint scheme tonight, Martin?
Yeah, he's running a light blue Cortland.
Yeah, kind of a tealish color he's got on there. Instead of his usual. Marcus Ruckman repping that monster car. I love that one. That's the same.
I believe that is the same
I run.
Yeah, and that's the same as yours. Yeah, I think that's the same sponsor for Jonathan Schwartz, just a different paint scheme.
And then, of course, we got Mr. Harmon in the 68 Avril Lavigne car there, running strong in 4th position. Anthony Burrows sits 5th.
Anthony Burrows on his inside.
Yeah, not surprising to see him up there trying to make a move for position.
Right behind him, we got Eric Johnson. Eric Johnson, Rockstar Endurance. I believe that. What is that? Is that one of those drinks?
Yeah, Rockstar is an energy drink. So.
Yeah, I couldn't. Oh, we got a yellow already.
And the first caution is out. And Sean Hughes was not able to make it happen to get himself in front of Chad Presnell there. So Hughes will not get the lucky dog. Chad Presnell on the 55 is going to get that position, able to work his way up to the back of the field. And these guys got to work hard, Martin. They got 40 laps to make up 5 positions, man.
Yeah, well, they're not down a lap yet, are they? I don't think they went down any laps.
Oh, or did they not? Maybe they were right at the end of the lead lap.
So that's perfectly fine for them.
Wow, that's the best caution they could have hoped for. The leader didn't have a chance to catch him from behind, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, both of them are back on the lead lap now, so awesome by them. Now they just have five spots to make up. I saw Jordan Gonzalez move from 16th to the 18th position. Did you see what that caution involved?
I'm still looking for it. Looks like Jim Westerfield has some damage, so I'm gonna
See, Jordan Gonzalez has a little bit of a crinkled hood.
It looks like, yeah, it looks like Jordan Gonzalez was the cause here. Let's see.
Go back and see if we can catch him.
Yeah, what happened? Oh, he got, him and Chris James got into each other going into the tri-oval. Then he goes down into the apron, Jordan Gonzalez. Slides back up on the track, makes more contact with Chris James. That makes him go sideways right in front of Jim Westerfield.
Real tight racing between these guys. You see the 44 right move down, the 66 of Aaron James move down. Those two do get into contact. Jordan saves it, keeps his car somewhat straight, but he does come back up onto the track. As soon as you touch that apron, Martin, it's so slippery. It's hard to keep your car from shooting back up the track like that.
You guys see who stayed out?
Who's
yeah,
that?
Mr. Wellborn decided to stay out
I think
there.
he wants an interview, guys.
He
It's All-Star night.
He definitely wants an interview. He's going to be pulling out all the stops this evening. I'm excited to see David Wellborn get a chance to race in this after that horrible showing in the first prelim race there. I didn't think he was even going to get a chance, but I'd love to interview the 96 at the end of this one.
Well, should we pull him in and interview him right now and see what he's thinking?
Right now, I got him. Here he comes.
Yep, pull him in. Mr. Wellborn, you got a copy? Oh, somebody moved him back.
What? Yeah, where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Wait, give me a second. Sorry, I was
Mr.
pulling him too.
Wellborn, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, buddy, what's the thought process?
Track position, to be honest with you, we ain't got the 5 laps on our tires, and I was taking it easy. So, you know, these boys are going to go by me. I know that, but I'm going to stick to the high side. I'm going to start in the high side and let them go. And just,
yeah, you know, you only have to go to lap 20 before you get some fresh tires again, so it looks like you put yourself in a pretty decent situation.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get up into the top 16 so I can make sure I get into the next segment. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Well, you want to get top 15 because there's one driver less, so make sure you get in 15th there.
All right. Well, I mean, it really surprised me. I even got in the top 10 in qualifying. I told the gentleman I'm in here with, I said, it figures the All-Star race is the only one I'll get a top 10 in qualifying.
Yeah, that car looks good in lead, David. Keep it up.
I'll try. Good luck, guys.
All right, buddy. Good luck to you.
Taking the high side.
That was David Wellborn calling out the race control there, what he planned to do. Looks like he is going to start on the outside here. Doesn't want that inside position, Martin. That's an interesting choice. I guess these guys, you know, with his tires currently, he just wants to get over and kind of get out of the way of at least the top 5.
Well, as he said, it's totally about the track position. I don't think he's, you know, planning on staying in the lead for long here. I mean, he does have 5. It's only 5 laps, but 5 laps on the tires is more than fresh tires. So
yeah, at this point, he just wants to make that cut. Sad part is,
yeah.
I mean, we still got 31 laps to go before that's going to happen.
Yeah,
so
it's a long one. But I mean, if he drops back, he's still going to be in a good position. I mean, unless the whole field can get past him. And Chris James he's a lap down now.
Yeah,
in 20th
he's still
position,
down
so that's
there
gonna be
on pit road. So that seems like a position that's given up at this point almost. Now we got 4 positions. So Jordan Gonzalez, who sits 19th, I doubt he'll make his way into that top 15, considering the damage he just acquired. Jim Westerfield, Mark Johnson, and Chad Presnall. John Hughes already above the cut. I thought it would take him a few more laps than that, but he's already up in the 15th. I don't know if you can tell, Martin, but I'm kind of rooting for Mr. Hughes tonight.
Well, he dominated the prelim race, so
it's just nice to see new faces up here in the DRL competing for wins, man. It really is a pleasure. So,
well, Sean Hughes has been there. Yeah, he's been there the last couple races, or at least the races he's been in. He's been competing. I think that was Dover. It was either Dover or even last week where he was one of those top cars racing the whole way.
Got the pace car dips down there on the pit road, and we take the green. Wow, Wellborn got out quick.
Oof,
at the 96 of Wellborn. He's going to stay up top. You know what I'm worried about here, Martin, is people like the 68 and Marcus Ruckman there, the 20, getting a little antsy behind Mr. Wellborn.
Yeah.
and trying to move him out of the way rather than racing around him. So.
Yeah, Husted looked a little slow on that restart because Jonathan Schwartz was right on his bumper, but seems like he's gotten
I think
it figured
Wellborn,
out.
if he's not saying it over the radio, he's making it obvious to these guys that, hey guys, I just wanted the track position. I'm getting out of your way. So he's staying up there on the top side of the track and kind of letting these guys roll by.
I think, yeah, I basically did that at Kansas in the truck race. I stayed out. I think I'm trying to remember. I think I needed to get the wave round or something, or I'm not sure what it was, but I ended up, or I just wanted to lead a lap, I think. But once you stay out, you can't really go in because then the pit road closes. So I'm like, okay, now I just got track position. I'm not going to hold this lead. I got old tires, and these guys are super fast behind me. So it's like, just go on by. I want to, now I've got better track position, and that was David Wellborn's plan. We'll see how that treats him, if it might have just been better to get the tires.
You know, Daniel Hallis was talking about arcing the car through the corners and you know, right at the end of that prelim race when he kind of shot himself in the foot. And if you watch these guys coming out of 4, if they get too low, the car pushes so hard towards that outside wall. I'm afraid maybe the outside wall of corner 4 is going to collect a few casualties tonight.
Yeah, well, I don't know about these cars. I haven't driven these cars yet, but definitely in the B cars. Well, and there was someone
Wellborn.
being...
No!
Ouch, that's going to take out a lot of guys. That was Brandon Dalton not being patient, just gave Wellborn a huge push. And that damaged a lot of good cars. That was not
After
smart by
all
Brandon
that talk
Dalton.
about track position, Mr. Wellborn just goes and gets himself turned. Trying to stay there out of the way of Aaron James. We're going to go back and watch that again. Go to a chopper view here and see exactly what happens. You got Wellborn in the 96 there on the low side, right behind Theodore in the 89. 44 to David Wright starts to catch the back of Brandon Dalton, but Brandon Dalton gets a better run out of that corner and gets right up behind the 96 of Wellborn.
Ouch.
Drives
I don't know what
it in deep, and then just runs David Wellborn over. Completely runs him over.
I don't know.
Collects the 22 of Musel, the 66 of Aaron James, the 98 of Mark Johnson. Looks like the 55 of Presnall and the 15 of Hughes made it around there, but oh man, what an unfortunate way to go out of this race. I hope Wellborn can get it back.
Dalton came over the radio and was saying something about there were cars on. Yeah, I don't know. I missed what he said, and I'm not sure what he was talking about because it sounded like he was saying there was a car on the high side, kind of, you know, making it he had nowhere to go. But it's like there was no one there. It was just him and David Wellborn, and he just kind of.
Let's pull Mr. Dalton in and get a quick interview. Brandon Dalton, you got a copy, sir?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, from up here in the broadcast booth, no offense need to be taken, but it looked like you kind of ran Mr. Wellborn over there. Did he just apply the brakes too hard in front of you, or?
Well, I was mid-stride of saying, looks like he's going to chop me, and then I heard someone in here in our Discord say, yep, looks like he's blocking. And then I was middle of saying, it looks like he's going to go. And sure as I said it, he went and slowed up a little bit, and I tapped him. It sure wasn't on purpose. I didn't think he was going to end up slowing us down that much, but I had conscious of the field behind me and everything, and I just hate that it played out that way. I hate if there's any form of contact like that, but
yeah, I'm sure he just saw that wall starting to sneak closer and closer to his car, and probably maybe got out of the gas just a little too much. But
yeah,
it is what it is, man. How much damage you got to the car?
I think I had 15 seconds, and I worked most of it out there, so we'll see how she plays out. I feel like I still got a pretty good car to run tonight. All
right, man. Well, we wish you the best of luck, and, you know, you never know. We could be talking to you at the end of this one.
You never know here, man. Thanks for the time.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
You as well, brothers.
So, yeah, I guess like he just didn't, you know, again, I understand both points of view. You know what I mean? The way I see it, Martin, because David, to me, it looked like he kind of let up a little hard. You know, maybe he didn't have to get out of it that much.
I don't know why he let up. I don't know.
At the same time.
Yeah, you were saying the wall looked like.
I guarantee you what happened to David was what I was battling a little bit in that 20 lapper earlier today. And that's like, once your tires go through some heat, you start pushing and you don't realize you're pushing until you're mid-turn, and it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, then your only option at that point is to kind of let out of the gas, but you can't do that when you got somebody right on your bumper. So it's either you
I
eat
don't
the
know.
wall
I mean,
and try to stay out of people, or you get ran over. I mean,
yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it didn't look like he was really pushing too bad. I mean, he still had a lot of space, but yeah, obviously, you know, depending on where you're pushing, I mean, you're gonna hit that wall just on the exit.
we
You look
have
pretty fine in the middle of the turn,
Chris
but who knows?
James in the 82 down there still on pit road. He's all done for tonight.
Yeah,
Jordan
he's done.
Gonzalez is back down pit road. Aaron James now almost a 40-second pit stop. Looks like David Wellborn got some repairs. He's back out on the track. So maybe
Yeah, so now it's
Wellborn's going to be
kinda-
okay after all.
Yeah, I think Wellborn might actually. Yeah, he'll be fine. His car is pretty good. Mark Johnson's car looks pretty good for getting in that. You know, Dalton probably has a little front end damage, but David Wright, the same thing. David Wright got really into the back of Dalton pretty hard, but the one that looks the worst is Aaron James. Aaron James is missing the front end of his car, so.
Well, these guys are stacking up too wide here. Looks like we're going to get a quick green flag, but we're shortly going to be having a green flag pit stop here in just a second. So these guys are going to have to come down here and take 4 tires on lap 20. Back up towards the front. We now have Mike Springer in first position. Thomas Harmon sits second. Sean Hughes has worked his way all the way up to third. I told you, there's my boy. We got the 89 of Jonathan Theodore. He is running in fourth position. And Hustad back to fifth, Martin.
It's really interesting because a lot of these guys did go down pit road on that yellow flag, but now they're going to be going down pit road mandatory in 2 laps here.
Yeah, but it's going to be green flag this
On a
time,
2 lap.
and unless these guys put a significant amount of practice into getting down pit road safely, we might see a wreck or 2 on the entrance to pit road.
Yeah, that's the difference. So I'm wondering how many of these guys took tires that last one. I mean, we don't have a tire limit. I mean, we talked about that, but there's just nothing we can really do to limit people on their tires. It's not an option.
Yeah, there's no way for us to monitor it either, but again, these guys have a couple laps, so they're coming down to get green flagged, or 4
Yeah, they have to
tires.
get tires anyway.
Yeah, they know it's coming, so you might as well stay out, get that track position. Looks like Hughes definitely took advantage of that.
Yeah, I
Must
think
have
Hughes
taken
did that.
0 under that caution flag. So
All right.
Hustad moves to his
Ready to-
outside, but as long as he keeps his car clean, he's got nothing to worry about, right, Martin?
Well, you, as long as you go in here about 5th place, you're going to come out somewhere around there, depending on your
Ooh,
skill
Jonathan
at getting into your
Schwartz and
box.
Anthony Burrows in the 62 there getting very close to one another.
All right, now everyone has to start figuring out how to come down pit road here.
And we're going to go to the entrance of pit road, and these guys, I
Now-
think they have to do it this time by, right? Oh,
Yeah,
no, and a caution comes out.
comes out. So does that mean?
Oh, man, that means these guys, there's no point in anybody coming down, because as soon as the green flag drops the next time by, they all have to pit. Wow.
Now my question is, like, do they have to go single file? Do they have to, or can they just race it and, you know, keep it too wide going down pit road? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know if we did that for this race or not. That might be a good question for Mr. Hallis.
Yeah, do they actually have to? Because Harmon and Hustad were, as they were coming towards the triover, they were still side by side. It was like, how was Hustad going to get down pit road? You know, really, let's see. All right, let's look around and see if I can find who that involved.
Yeah, we're gonna take a quick commercial break here, guys. We
Probably
will be
Mark
back
Johnson,
in just a
Joshua
minute.
Wakefield.
We're gonna go to
I'll
a
look
quick
for it,
restart. We're gonna run 1 green flag lap, and then everybody's gonna have to come down and get tires anyway. So, Martin, I'll leave you live here. I'm just following Mr. Harmon in 2nd place on the TV cam, and I'll be back in just a couple minutes, guys.
Yeah, so that caution was brought out by Mark Johnson getting into the rear end of rear quarter panel. Joshua Wakefield turning him, and that ends up collecting David Wright and David Wellborn. A little bit of damage for both those cars. So that's going to throw a wrench into the green flag stop, but everyone should be staying out probably. Yep, everyone's still out. Wade Hustad, Thomas Harmon, Mike Springer, Eric Johnson, and Jonathan Schwartz, top 5, halfway through stage 1.
So what you guys are about to look for here is pace car's gonna drop. Leader crosses the line. It's a green flag track. They go down pit road, basically right then and there. And then when they come off pit road, they're still green, unless somehow a caution happens before they can get the pit road.
Now, are they going to race the pit road? I mean, they're going to be too wide, right? When that pace car goes off.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, so they're going to have to shuffle their way in. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to have cars on the outside trying to slam across. It's going to be interesting to see how they can. Because usually when you have green flag stops, you're not really tight on a restart like that, or everyone going down green flag at the same time. Usually, it's all.
I think if I was one of these fast guys, I would be out there trying to figure out how to sit at the back and let everyone wreck going down pit road.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's like, these guys should be communicating. I'm surprised there's not a lot more radio chatter going on right now. Like, hey, okay, we got to go down green. We got to go down pit road here. Let's not go crazy. Yeah, so what's going to be happening here is the pace car is going to drop off. The leaders, everyone will have to take one more lap. They'll cross the start-finish line, and then they will have to dip down into pit road. They cannot follow the pace car down pit road. They do need to run a lap under green and come around and go down under green at speed. Now, race control has been coming over saying they can, they can take their time if they want, but that's going to have to be everyone on the same page taking their time. Otherwise, you could lose a ton of positions if some guy decides to go make it 3 wide and run fast on the outside and gain a bunch. So let's see what happens here. We got Wade Hustad, Thomas Harmon. They're side by side. This is going to be, everyone's going to have to kind of shake out single file, or they're going to be going down pit road 2 wide, racing to the line. Wade Hustad gets a good jump. Thomas Harmon, I'm not sure if Thomas Harmon let him go, but that's going to make it easy for Harmon to get in the pit road. And Anthony Burrows is really probing, trying to get past Springer and Johnson.
Yeah, Burrows there in the 62, dips down, makes it 3 wide underneath Eric Johnson and Mike Springer.
And it looks like they're going to start working their way single file here. They're going to have to start slowing down. Pit road's coming up fast. And Jonathan Schwartz still battling for position. Whoa, there they come.
And there's the 62 of Burrows. Goes completely sideways.
Anthony Burrows did not.
Wow, 6 of Jordan Gonzalez almost gets into him. And it looks like Burrows is just going to take his time, make sure he doesn't hit anybody, and get himself down to that pit box and have to race his way back into this one, Martin. We got, 15 laps to go after they come out of pit road. He's got a few positions to make up. Cause
I think that came up fast.
What's that?
Oh, John Theodore was fast. Did he not take tires?
He tried to sneak something. He still has to make a pit stop.
Yeah, you need to take tires, and there's no way him and Dalton got in and out before the leaders. I mean, everyone should be coming out basically the same order they went in.
Yeah, it looks like Brandon Dalton and John Theodore both must have either missed their pit box and decided to roll through, or something happened there. Yeah. But we did have Thomas Harmon come out in front of Wade Hustad after entering behind him, so good job on Harmon's
looking at Brandon
part
Dalton.
there.
Brandon Dalton comes in.
Yeah, Anthony Burrows with a 30.43 second pit
Yeah,
there.
Brandon Dalton and John Theodore. Well, John Theodore is coming over the radio and he's like he didn't understand the rules, even though I specifically remember hearing over and over again that it's a 4-tire stop. You have to take 4 tires.
Yeah, well, understanding the rules and following the rules is 2 different things. So he will come back down and have to collect another pit stop. Looks like that mistake by Anthony Burrows might not hurt him so bad after all, Martin.
Yeah, unfortunately for John Theodore and Brandon Dalton, they, ignorance or not understanding the rules is not an excuse. You're gonna have to serve the penalty. You're gonna have to go down again because everyone else followed the rules, and you can't get an advantage just because, well, I didn't know, I didn't understand. So Brandon Dalton's gonna have to come down at some point here.
Yeah, I mean, we still got Brandon Dalton there in the 85, is still running laps around here. Hopefully Race Control will get that taken care of. But our true race leader right now, Wade Hustad, back out in front of Thomas Harmon.
Yeah, I think John Theodore must have come down already. Just caught the wall a little bit because he's back in 18th.
And he's now 2 laps down. Anthony Burrows only 1 lap down after that crazy issue that happened on pit road there. So Anthony Burrows has some fighting to do. I mean, he's got to get ahead of David Wellborn, and he's got to get ahead of Jordan Gonzalez before he can make his way into that next stage. We might see Anthony Burrows cut from this All-Star race. Not one of the guys I don't think either one of us expected to go here at the beginning of this, but...
Yeah, Brandon Dalton is still coming over the radio saying you shouldn't have to take 4 tires because that yellow flag came out right before the green flag stops. But that was the point of the green flag stops. It's a mandatory 4-tire stop. That's what it is. That's what the rule is. So I'm sure there's going to be some hurt feelings after this race with a couple of our drivers. Hopefully they realize their mistake, and I feel like it was explained. I understood it, at least. I don't know. It seemed like 18 out of the 20 drivers understood it.
Yeah, I mean, Race Control will handle it whichever way they have to, as Brandon Dalton does slow down and come down to take his pit stop here. Can't be a happy camper, unfortunate that it happens, but it is what it is.
Well, this is the first year of running this, so maybe next year we come back and we realize, okay, we need to be very clear that no matter what, that green flag stop, 4 tires. There could be a yellow flag right before it. You could have gone in and gotten 4 tires right before it. Don't know why you would do that, because you know that you have to go in under the green flag, 4 tires, mandatory, 13-second stop, whatever it is. I think that's kind of what we were talking about in the lead up to the race, is that what's going to happen if these guys don't go take tires? It's like, well, why would you go down pit road and try to game the system? The point is you have to sit there basically for 13 seconds. You have to do a full pit stop.
Yeah, we're gonna see it.
If you're not doing that, we know. If you came out and that's why I said it's like John Theodore and Brandon Dalton came out, and guys were still coming into their pits. And I'm like, how did these guys come out? I mean, they weren't.
They did it just not understanding the rules. It wasn't them trying to game the system in any way. Down if Anthony Burrows is up to, he's in 16th now, but he is still, I think, almost 5 seconds behind David Wellborn in the 96. So, and then Jordan Gonzalez in front of him, he's like 9 seconds behind Jordan Gonzalez. So Burrows has a lot of racing to do with only 7 laps here to make this cut.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a race between Burrows and David Wellborn.
Oh, now we had Brandon Dalton actually drop back to 17th after that mistake. Yep, so really, it's just Burrows catching Wellborn. Can Wellborn hold him off?
Yeah, the cut is 15th. So David Wellborn right now in that position.
Yeah, you see on the other end of the straightaway there, you got Anthony Burrows is charging, and there is a little bit of damage to the 96. So we'll see what the 96 decides to do. I don't know. He might slow down and let Anthony Burrows past him, as he knows his race is probably over. But he did run a 30.188 on his last lap. Anthony Burrows ran a 29.824. So Burrows is catching him little by little. I just don't think he has enough laps to do it, Martin.
Oh yeah, we're already on lap 35. Yeah. So let's see. I mean, that could turn out to be a huge thing. I mean, that's a huge mistakes for Dalton and Theodore, and also Burrows there, just not being able to slow down without going through the grass and turning sideways. So
Yeah,
that
he
green
ate a
flag
lot
pit
of
stop.
time. It wasn't just
Yeah.
the fact that his pit was
Yeah,
slower,
he was
but
very
he had to
slow
sit in the pit box for 15 seconds for an unsafe pit entry. So
Oh, that too, yeah.
he ran right through that cone.
Yeah, so that green flag stop really shook up the field and really did some things.
Yeah, it took Anthony Burrows 31 seconds down there, so can't be satisfied with that result. But
Well, that green flag stop, I mean, look at the people that helped. That helped Aaron James. That helped Jordan Gonzalez. Those are guys that got caught up in a couple of those cautions. I mean, Gonzalez and David Wright got caught up in the Brandon Dalton, David Wellborn caution, and they got caught up in that caution that came right out when you were on your break, just as you went on the break. That was Joshua Wakefield getting turned by Michael Johnson, or Mark Johnson.
Yep.
And yeah, they got a little damage from that too, but David Wright and Jordan Gonzalez are looking pretty safe right now. Anthony Burrows 2 seconds behind David Wellborn for that.
yeah,
15th
Martin,
spot.
2 seconds and 2 laps. I just don't think it's going to happen unless Wellborn makes a major mistake or we have another caution flag come out here. So
yeah, Wellborn right now should just be driving his lap, making sure he doesn't hit that wall.
as safe as a line as he can possibly drive, right?
Yeah. Don't worry about catching Aaron James. In fact, you don't need to catch Aaron James because it's going to be inverted. Everything gets inverted here, so he's going to jump all the way up to what? He jumped to 8th.
Who's that? Wellborn?
David Wellborn, yeah,
Yeah,
he'll jump to 8th on on the restart because top 5 will invert. So Wade Houston will drop to 5th. Springer will drop to bump up to 1st.
Now, are you sure they're only keeping the top 15 rather than 16? They're not keeping the number the same because we had one less driver in the field tonight? They might keep the number the same. You might have the top 16 still.
No, it sounds. I think Hallis came over and said 15. It makes sense. I mean, it's a 5 cut. I mean, we're just cutting 5 drivers. I think the reason it was 16 is because you're cutting from 21, but we had one driver.
Well, this is the last lap right here. I mean, you got Wellborn down on the inside of the 66 of Aaron James.
But I think he's easing off. There's no reason to pass Aaron James. You pass
well,
Aaron
yeah,
James.
but you have Anthony Burrows charging down this backstretch. I mean, they got to go around this
like,
corner in some bit of a timely manner.
Yeah.
Unless somebody's going to be the
Then
most
Aaron
mannered
James
driver
will-
in the DRL and pull over and let Mr. Burrows around him so he can continue to compete in this race. I think
No
Mr.
way is
Burrows
that
is
gonna
about
happen.
to get cut as
Yep,
those guys
that's
come
it.
across the start-finish line.
That's huge. Anthony Burrows, the top. I mean, this guy has 5 wins this season. He had, I believe, over the whole season, including playoffs, I believe 9 wins last year. I mean, this year he's on an incredible pace this year for wins.
Yeah, I mean, unless the race control has misinformed us, I believe that is Anthony Burrows,
think
Brandon
Anthony Burrows
Dalton,
out.
John Theodore, and Chris James, and Mark Johnson all being cut from the race right now.
And what makes that great is that Anthony Burrows was fighting for that. I mean, he actually, there was some competition there for that last spot. The other 4 guys were already, 2 of them were lapped down, the other 2 10 or more laps down. So,
well, and if you think about it too, Martin, not only was Burrows, it's not like he was competing for the 15th position, really. He was competing for the 8th position.
yeah.
Which is just crazy to me.
Yeah. So stage 1, Wade Hustad is the winner of stage 1. He will be getting $10 in iRacing credit.
Yeah, big congratulations to Wade Hustad. Has had a great race so far. We'll just see how good he is at making his way through a field because, again, even if he finishes stage 2 and collects another $10, guess what? He's going all the way back to 16th. So time for the field to invert. We're going to...
Yeah, Wade Hustad's going to drop to 5th. Mike Springer will come up to 1st. Schwartz will go to, I believe, 4th, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so just invert. Thomas Harmon will stay in the same place.
Exactly.
Ruckman and Hughes will stay in the same place. 6th and 7th don't flip at all.
And here we see Mike Springer,
So
Eric
it's gonna
Johnson
be-
coming around and making that swap. And then Harmon stays in 3rd. Jonathan Schwartz moves up. And then Wade Hustad assumes the 5th position there.
Yeah, Chad Presnell will drop back to 15th. Aaron James with that damaged car will restart 8th. Jim Westerfield will fall back to 14th.
Oh, yeah, lucky Ruckman and Hughes. They get to kind of stay right where they're at right now, huh?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, Hughes, Ruckman, and Harmon stay where they are, 3rd, 6th, and 7th. And then everyone else, I think, will change. Well, let's see. Who Who
It's
won't
going to
have
take
change?
these guys. I warned you guys, viewers, thank you guys for sticking in here with us. I warned you before this race started. There is going to be a few laps here where it's going to take these guys some time to change up this whole field. There's guys who have to come around, guys who have to fall to the back. They're inverting positions 8 through 15. So once I have it confirmed, as we have some drivers pulling off the track here, once I've confirmed that Anthony Burroughs is actually having to come down pit road right now, and he is. The 62 pulls down pit road to park his car. I want to pull him in here and get a quick interview with him. What an unfortunate set of circumstances.
That's huge. That's a big. Yeah, that's the All-Star race right there.
I mean, Anthony Burroughs.
You're not gonna see that too often.
We definitely didn't expect that out of him. So let's pull him in.
Where is Anthony Burroughs? There he is.
Yeah.
Do you got him or?
Yeah.
Get him?
I'll pull him in here. Anthony Burroughs, do you have a copy, my friend?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, ridiculous chain of events there on pit road. Was that all you're doing? Was something in your way, or what happened there?
There's just, I wasn't sure we were pitting that lap, and I saw, because people started braking kind of late, and then once I saw everyone else braking to get on pit road ahead of me, I kind of slammed on the brakes and just spun it out. It was my fault 100% there, but yeah, we'll move on to next week. Have some fun there.
Yeah, luckily this one was just for fun. You're definitely not the guy we expected. I know there's been some drama down there. Brandon Dalton and Jonathan Theodore not taking tires as they should have. You were fighting back to get in front of Wellborn. I thought maybe we'd have the most gentlemanly thing in the world happening and maybe have Wellborn, or I think it was Aaron James there in front of you in the 66, maybe pull over and let you buy them because they both had damaged cars. But at least this race is just for fun, man, and hopefully you have better luck next week. I know you'll come out and perform like you always do. So, you got a shout out you want to give to anybody tonight, Anthony?
Yeah, shout out to everyone that put on this race. Yeah, it looks like it'll be a lot of fun. I'll be keeping an eye on it. See who wins this. Yeah, thanks for having me tonight. Had fun while it lasted. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, definitely not the easiest race to manage, but I think you've already got a bid for 2019 All-Star race, so we'll see you back again next year. Hopefully the performance is a little better.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Have a good night, Anthony.
Thanks, you too.
I think he was down and he was in spotter
one.
Yep.
All right, so let's see who we got here. Mike Springer, Eric Johnson, Thomas Harmon still in third. Jonathan Schwartz and Wade Hustad go from first and second to fourth and fifth, or fifth and fourth, depending on. And Ruckman Hughes stay 6-7. Aaron James up from 15th to 8th. David Wellborn 9th. Gonzalez 10th. Wakefield 11th. Musel 12th. David Wright 13th. Westerfield 14th. And Chad Presnall now bringing up the rear in 15th.
Yeah, Presnall's got a little fighting to do now. We're going to lose 5 more drivers at the end of this, so it'll only be, the top... Are we losing 5? Will we be down to only 9 drivers at the end of this?
Yeah, we'll be down to 10.
Okay.
So 15, 14, 13, 12, 11th will be out. So 10th place is the I don't know what you call that, honey hole?
Honey hole.
I don't know.
That's where the Bears headed. Is that the origination of that?
I've heard that term somewhere. I'm not sure if I'm using it at all correct, but
I don't know if you are either. I don't feel like I've ever heard it before, but that's okay, Martin. Hey, if you don't mind, if you can drop into another channel real quick and go over iRacing chat and make sure that any of these guys who are eliminated from the race, and not to kind of ruin their race or whatever, make sure they exit the car so they no longer show up on my pit board. I would greatly appreciate that. Or just say it over iRacing if you have a way of doing that and not say it in here, but I just don't want that pit board pulling up and having these guys showing on pits for, forever. So guys, what they've just done, right, is they've actually thrown an iRacing caution now. So now they're letting the game, all of that was manual. Our lap counter in the top left-hand corner of the screen means absolutely nothing. From here on out, it shows 46 out of 160. There is not 160 laps going here tonight, and we're not 46 laps into it. So things are going to change up a little bit here. You can't count on that lap counter anymore. I will let you know when we go green, and we're going to have 30 laps in the next stage. So They threw that actual iRacing caution. Everybody now gets a chance to participate in a real caution. They can come down pit road and get tires if they choose to. They can stay out if they choose to. You see the leaders coming around to catch the pace car here. And they get to have a real pit stop, just as if, you know, nothing had happened before. Now that they've got the field all changed up to the way it needs to be. And
Well, there's a little confusion. It sounds like David Wright thinks he should have passed Musel. Like they should have flipped. But I didn't get a screenshot, or I don't remember where they finished last time. But if those guys didn't flip, I'm not sure.
yeah, I mean, if they were in the position that they're in now before, right? Aaron James was at the back, so he came to the front, and Chad Presnall. Him and Chad Presnall swapped. David Wellborn and Jim Westerfield swapped. Jordan Gonzalez and David Wright swapped, and Joshua Wakefield and Musel swapped. So that's.
But that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah,
I don't know if David Wright and Jordan Gonzalez were supposed to swap or not. And I don't know. I don't have a screen showing me where they were. I should have like hit a print screen or something and get a screenshot just so I can check that. But it sounds like there was some confusion and that people weren't happy about it. Okay, so they threw the caution flag. People can now pit.
Yeah, I talked about that when you were out of the channel there for a second, Martin. It's just like a normal pit on iRacing now. So they threw that caution to allow these guys to go through a normal pit stop, and they're going to let iRacing take them back to green, and we're going to have a 30-lap stint of green flag racing only. So if these guys get into a caution at this point, you know, that's why Daniel Howells keeps popping in, and we keep chatting with him and trying to keep us up to date as far as laps go. Everything is manually counted by race control at this point.
Yeah,
so they have 30 laps, green only.
Lap 50, right?
It's probably somewhere around there. As soon as these guys double up, we'll know that the green flag is coming. But
my question is, so we inverted the field and everything, but then they go through the pits, and so that can change up the field too, right?
Of course they can. Yep.
Okay, so it doesn't.
Nope, they don't go right back to where they just were.
They're not going to restart. Okay.
No, sir. They get to make a regular pit stop.
Yeah, it looks like Dustin Musel lost a couple positions. David Wright jumped up a little bit.
And where Aaron James had made up a couple of positions, he's now back into 14th because he had to get some damage fixed there. So you see the 66 of Mr. James driving that modified around the track. He is now back into 14th.
Well, look at our leaders. Our leaders, Mike Springer came out first, but Jonathan Schwartz and Wade Hustad, who dropped back to 4th and 5th, well, right back in 2nd and 3rd, and Thomas Hartman falls from 3rd to 5th, and Eric Johnson goes from 2nd to 4th. So that inversion kind of didn't really do
a
much
whole
for
lot
leaders.
for everything. No, but at this last inversion is going to be the important part, Martin. So they'll run 30 laps here, and all of a sudden, if you got Mr. Springer running out there in first place, well, guess what? Now you're back in 10th, buddy. So
now between the stages, are we going to have another yellow flag after?
Yes,
stage
sir.
2?
Exactly. Okay. So they're going to get another yellow flag that comes out. And again, the pits could shake things up if guys don't do the right thing. But, you know, this stage is green flag laps only. So unless they happen to have a caution on that very last green flag lap, you know, these guys are going to be in the right position as far as who's racing hard and who isn't, unless you got somebody who might be sandbagging. You know, I would say if you're one of those guys who touches the wall once or twice and you end up losing a couple positions, but you're still up to speed, shoot for, you know, between 8th and 10th. Why would you not want to be 8th to 10th? Because now you're sitting in, you know, 2nd or 3rd. And or if you have some damage to get repaired, well, you bought yourself a little extra time on pit road. I'm going to go down and I'm going to go down trackside and pull Daniel Hallis in here one more time. Make sure we have everything we just said correct. I'm pretty sure, you know.
I'm just confused about. My only question is, now with the yellow flag stop after the stage, do they all have to take 4 tires, or can they just go in and?
From here on out, there's no more mandatory 4-tire stop. From here on out, green flag. Right, so green flag laps are the only laps that count towards the 30 and the 20 for the next 2 stages.
So what we could have is we could have the field invert, and you could have Mike Springer go to 10th, and then just stay out and not even pit, right?
If he chose to.
Now, of course, he'd be on old tires.
Right. So, and again, because we're on green flag laps only, it depends on... If we get a caution, the last green flag lap, now what? These guys do a restart, they run 1 lap around, and then the manual caution's thrown anyway. You know,
so we're restarting on lap 51
and throw a manual caution.
Yeah, so on our little lap counter, it's going to be lap 51. So this stage, barring any yellow flags, will go to lap 81, right? We'll finish on lap 81.
Yes, sir.
81 will be the last lap. Will be the white
Well,
flag lap.
that's barring any cautions, Martin. I think we've seen our fair share of them tonight. So, and
yeah, I doubt
these
that'll
guys are
happen,
all
so we're
so
gonna have to do
quick. They're so close to one another as far as lap times are concerned, and even the 96 there of Wellborn, middle of the field, has some damage. He's keeping up with these cars in front of him.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some complicated calculus probably to figure out how many laps we got. But we've done one lap there, so I guess I could just start counting on my fingers and toes and.
Yeah, we're definitely going to use Mr. Hallis. He's down there trackside making sure things go right with these guys. So we're going to use him tonight.
I can keep a tally, right? There we go. Let's open a notepad. I'll just go, hey, we did one lap. Now we've done 2.
Yeah, there you go. That's the way to do it.
Keep track where we are.
Mike Springer catches a little bit of the grass there coming into the tri-oval. Wade Hustad in the 32, right on the bumper of the 58 of Jonathan Schwartz there in first. These guys are giving it everything they've got, Martin. You know, it kind of makes me wonder. I know they're racing for money, right? It's not every day these guys can come out, join a league race, and be racing for 10, 20, or heck, if you win all 3 stages, you win $40, right? But that's why they're giving it all they got. Yeah, we've mentioned something about sandbagging to try to get your way up to, you know, the front. But guess what? It's the leader of these stages that's winning that iRacing credit. So exciting to watch these guys come out and give it all they've got. Hey, thanks to all the viewers who came out this evening. Thank you guys for watching. Looks like we have a lot of guys from the league tuning in. I'm sure friends and family tuning in. Brandon Dalton just messaged us, said sorry again for the confusion on the green flag stop. Good luck to everyone. Thanks for putting it on. Thanks for showing up tonight, Brandon. Unfortunate that had to happen to you, but is what it is. We have some guys, part of the Dynasty Racing League, that weren't even able to attend this evening's race have also showed up, so. Hustad out there in the 32, actually putting a little bit of a gap between him and Jonathan Schwartz now, but nothing major like we saw from Theodore in that one preliminary race. I'm still excited, Martin. I want to see Theodore work his way up.
25 laps to go. This will be 24 to go now. I heard Danielle has come over the radio. 25 to go now. 24 to go in this stage 2. And after this stage, yeah, the field inverts. The top 10 will invert. 11 through 15 will be cut.
These top, what is it? What do we have there? 6 guys, man. I mean, they've been top 6 most of the night.
Yeah. Well, they're the usual suspects. I mean, these are guys that I expect to be up there.
Seem to be in a league of their own. I mean, Marcus Ruckman, I've seen him run a lot of truck races, but if we go look at Ruckman, I believe he does hold a very high I rating. Yeah, he started in second position tonight. He holds a 46 I rating.
Sean Hughes. Sean Hughes disconnected. Something happened to him, and so we're going to be...
Oh, yeah, Hughes was our 15th driver here.
Yeah, so Hughes is out. He's done. After dominating that prelim race.
That's unfortunate. And it was after we took that green flag because Anthony Burrows is 14 laps down. Hughes is only showing his 10, so he did get a couple laps in there. But back to what I was saying, Ruckman, I mean, I've seen him run a lot of truck races, but he does hold a very high I rating, so obviously he races some cup cars in his spare time. Doing very well. Started in second, currently sits there. He hasn't led a lap yet tonight, but... there's somebody who looks to be catching Wade Hustad. It's going to be him, as Jonathan Schwartz gave up that second position to Ruckman just a couple laps ago.
Well, I'm looking back now. Whoa! Just as I look back, David Wright gets into the rear end of David Wellborn and sends him shooting. Sends himself shooting up into the wall nearly. So that's going to let Jim Westerfield move into 8th. Wellborn will fall back to 9th, and Jordan Gonzalez will slip into 10th. David Wright all the way back to 11th now.
Yeah, there's some crazy tight racing
That's
back
the
here,
battle.
Martin, between these guys.
Well-
the 4 of Westerfield, fairly new to the Dynasty Racing League, but
Looks like he's
Wellborn
got
and
8th locked down now.
yeah, I mean
for
Wellborn
now.
and Gonzalez both got some pretty decent amount of damage earlier. You can see Wellborn's hood crunched up a little bit there. You can,
All 3 of those guys right there. Yep. Wellborn, Wright, and Gonzalez. A little bit of hood crunch.
you notice it a little bit less on the 9 of Jordan Gonzalez, but
Yep.
all of these guys racing very close to one another. I mean, what happens? You know, you go to the inversion. You know, right now Wellborn sits in 10th. If he gets flopped up to 1st, what's going to happen on a restart when some of these slower guys are in front of the guys who've been out front all night?
Yeah, that's the fun of it, I guess, right?
It's not, it's not the
But, hey,
all-star
this is-
race for nothing.
That's what's making this really fun here is because you have David Wright, Jordan Gonzalez, and David Wellborn. They are battling hard for that 10th position.
Yeah, they are. Musel's right there on their tail as well.
Yeah,
So.
Musel, that's helping Musel catch him, and Joshua Wakefield a couple seconds
Oh,
behind.
and Jordan Gonzalez
Whoa,
loses control of his car.
Gonzalez saves
Looks
it,
like
hits
he
the
gathers
wall.
himself up, but he does run
Well,
into
that-
the wall there. The 9
Yeah,
of
he's gonna go down into the
Gonzalez
grass.
down onto the
It looks
apron.
like he
Oh,
just
he just
disconnected.
completely disconnected from the server, so he knows that's the end of his night. So now we're down to 13 drivers right now. Aaron James is a lap down, so barring a caution, there's no way for him to get back into this. So right now, it's the 35 of Joshua Wakefield, the 22 of Dustin Musel, and the 96 of David Wellborn, all 3 fighting for that. That
Yeah,
10th
now
position.
Musel coming up to battle Wellborn for 10th. And as I said, Jim Westerfield, he got past that clump of cars, and he's kind of locked down 8th place now.
Yeah, he seems to be heading out. I mean, I don't know if he had any damage earlier. You know, if he's just been a little
No,
bit of
I
a
don't think
slower
he does.
runner, has been taking his time, but
Oh yeah, he's just staying
he's-
out of it, it looks like.
he does seem to have 8th position quite handily at this point. The 44 of David Wright needs to be careful. Don't do any too much rear view mirror driving, and the 96 of David Wellborn needs to do the same because Dustin Musel's definitely hot on both of their trails.
Now the gap between Musel and Wakefield is widening, and Wakefield might be. I mean, he's got time. There's still
Yeah,
time,
Wakefield
but-
ran about 2.5 tenths, you know, a quarter of a second slower than those guys, and he doesn't look like he has a whole lot of damage tonight. So maybe not the most comfortable track for Josh Wakefield, but
Yeah, we're halfway through the stage. 15 laps to go. Wade Hustad, Marcus Ruckman, Jonathan Schwartz, top 3. We've already lost a few 3 drivers in that bottom 5. So Gonzalez, James, and Hughes. Jordan Gonzalez, Aaron James, and Sean Hughes will be cut. And Joshua Wakefield, Dustin Musel eyeing up David Wellborn to try to slip into the top 10 and into that first place position on the restart.
yeah, Musel looks like he wants it. But again, both of the fronts of all 3 of these cars we're looking at on screen right now are crunched up a little bit. So might not have anything for the leaders. But again, we talked about track position tonight, Martin. David Wellborn made it work for him once. Who's to say he couldn't do it again? The only issue these guys will run into, right, is at the end of that 3rd stage. The 3rd stage is 20 laps, but it's green flag racing only. So even if you get yourself into that position because of a caution, you decide to stay out, well, guess what? You got to come back out on the track and finish those green flag laps. So,
Yep.
and nobody in their right mind would be crazy enough to pit with only 1 green flag lap left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's
They
no way
wouldn't.
to really make up positions. And if there's more than 3 or 4 laps left, you'll probably see everyone pit. And if you decide to
David
stay
Wellborn
out,
just hit the wall.
and
He
Wellborn
hits the
down
inside
to the
wall hard.
inside, scraping that inside wall,
And it looks like he's got engine
Oh, and he-
damage, so it might be
yeah.
the end of his race. Yep.
plows that safer barrier there, and
So
looks
now
like he has a
it's-
little
I
bit of
think-
horsepower, but maybe only in 1st or
Yeah,
2nd gear. That's going to be the end of his
it
night.
for him. So it looks like Dustin Musel will be that last car in the top 10, barring any problems from him.
Yeah, I mean,
because-
Wakefield in the 35 there, he's got
3
over
seconds,
3.5 seconds or so to make up on Dustin Musel. So looks like we might have the field set for the next stage, and we're only, what, 2/3 of the way through this one. Martin, I'm going to take a
Yeah,
quick
we got-
break. I'll leave you up here currently watching the number 12 of Mike Springer as 58, 21, and 68 all come up on his rear. And
Yeah,
I
they're
will
battling
be
position.
I'll be back after a short break.
And Thomas Harmon going low. We'll get past Jonathan Schwartz and to move into, I think that's me, 5th place. Yep. And 10 laps to go in stage 2 before the field is inverted. A yellow flag stop. And then 20 more laps to finish this race, this all-star race. The Molnar Automotive All-Star Race at Charlotte 2018. We already lost Anthony Burrows in the first round of cuts. He had trouble getting down pit road during the green flag stop, mandatory at lap 20. Actually ended up being about lap 22, 23. Yellow flag came out around lap 19. Mandatory 4-tire stops. Brandon Dalton and John Theodore didn't understand the rules, and it ended up having a very short stop. Came out 1-2, but were quickly brought back down a pit road to collect their 4 tires, as was the mandatory rule. Chris James and Mark Johnson. Mark Johnson got caught up in an early wreck, and Chris James, I believe, also had some damage. So those are our top 5 cuts, or first 5 cuts: Burrows, Dalton, Theodore, James, and Johnson. And now already we have Wellborn, Gonzalez, James, and Hughes out in the next 5 cut. Joshua Wakefield in 11th, but 4 seconds back on the outside looking in at Dustin Musial running 10th. Top 10 drivers will go on to the last stage and will be inverted. Dustin Musial currently will jump to 1st place. Wade Hustad will go to 10th place. Field spreading out. Wade Hustad has a 2.5-second lead over Marcus Ruckman. Mike Springer about half a second behind him. Eric Johnson, 0.2 of a second there. And Thomas Harmon and Jonathan Schwartz, another 2 seconds behind, or about 1.5 seconds behind Eric Johnson in 5th and 6th. Then Chad Presnell all alone, just cruising around with a 3-second gap in front of him and behind him, running 7th. Jim Westerfield and David Wright within eyesight of each other. Dustin Musial 3 seconds back from David Wright in 10th place. 5 to go. And Mike Springer super loose coming over the radio. Eric Johnson will slip into 2nd. Well, not in 2nd. He'll slip into 3rd. Marcus Ruckman in 2nd.
We got now, Martin. We got 5 laps to go here, huh?
Yes, we do.
Before the end of this stage. Unfortunately, we can't throw the green-white checker, but what we can do is slow all these guys down when they come around and collect that 82nd lap.
Yeah, there's another feature that'd be great for iRacing to add is stages. I mean, optional. Make it optional for leagues. You know, have that option of stage racing and all that stuff, and then we can really.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not the hugest fan of stage racing.
That's why I say make it optional, you know.
Yeah, give you the opportunity, especially to do cool things like this All-Star race. I've yet to see a league do something like this and pull it off well. So did have a little confusion earlier with Brandon Dalton and John Theodore. Those two can't be happy with the way their night ended, but Wade Hustad out there running in 1st. He's starting to look like Martin Truex Jr. of last year. Just capturing stage after stage.
Well, and it's especially this stage, it's been all yellow, or it's all green.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the field thinned out there. We only have 11 drivers left in this field. Joshua Wakefield doesn't look like he has any opportunity to catch up to Dustin Musial. So, seems, barring a caution in these last 2 laps, we've got our top 10 set for that final stage, Mark.
Well, this race is going to be interesting, this last stage, because we're gonna restart with Musial, Wright, Westerfield, and Presnall, your top 4. And then Jonathan Schwartz, Harmon, Springer, Johnston, Ruckman, and Hustad bringing up the rear. Now, Hustad's been dominating this race. He's going to have to battle all the way through. Now, it depends on what happens in that yellow flag stop, but I'm sure all 10 of these guys are going to get 4 tires.
Yeah, there might be a position shakeup or 2, but they're not going to be able to gain 5 or 6 positions by any means. Nobody's going to take no tires.
Yeah, I don't think Wade Hustad's going to go from 10th to 1st. He might slip in, come back out on that restart, maybe 9th, 8th, depending on how good he gets into his stall.
Yeah, he's definitely had some good pit stops tonight. But if you keep in mind, I mean, earlier, Thomas Harmon, I think, was Harmon ahead of him on that last one? I think Harmon had a better pit stop than him last time around. So.
Yeah, Harmon, finished that first stage in 3rd, and then was gonna in the reshuffle stayed in 3rd, and Hustad went to 5th, and Hustad then came back out, I believe, in 3rd. And
everybody's racing up behind the 32 of Hustad. I think Hustad was slowing down, assuming that was the end. Is there one more lap, or is that it? Okay.
This should be the last one. I think we're on the last lap here.
Oh no, I think that Hustad thought we were on the last lap, but we weren't. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, this is the last lap right here. Now it's over. So yeah, I think he thought crossing the line he was already. That last lap was the cooldown. It's like, no, this is the cooldown now. Now we're done. So
didn't give up the position though.
Hustad. Yep.
Hustad now capturing his 2nd stage in a row.
Yeah, so he's earned $20 tonight.
Yeah, $20 in his pocket, and again, like we said just a couple minutes ago, I mean, 10 positions for him to capture all 40 here tonight. Hustad's been dominant so far in this Cup Series. Is he our current? I think he's our current points leader in the Cup Series.
He is. Yeah, I believe he's only a 3-point lead though now over Anthony Burrows.
Yeah, I mean, Burrows didn't show up to a couple races there. Hustad's been present and forged his way to the top just by being here, being consistent. He's constantly running in the top 5. Great work by Hustad. Hopefully he's not planning to come down and take a pit stop here, riding low on the apron there. He should come around, and the only car we should have pull off the track is the 35 there of Joshua Wakefield, as you see him come down.
It should be an easy rotation here, easy reshuffling. Hustad just has to fall all the way to the back.
Right after these guys.
To the back. Yep.
Yeah, once they get this all shuffled up, once again, race control will throw that yellow flag.
Yeah, basically what's going to happen is everyone's going to pass Hustad, and then everyone's going to pass Ruckman, and everyone just pass the guy in front of them.
Right.
Well, no. What are you doing, Ruckman? Well, okay, they're going to do it differently. I think the easy way to really do it could have just been have Hustad slow down, have everyone pass him, Ruckman then slow down, and
well, this is essentially the same thing. They're pulling over to the side and they're sending it from the rear forward. So
yeah, that works too.
Kind of giving everybody a lucky dog all at once.
Yep. Yeah, whichever way you do it, you just make sure. I mean, this one's the easy one because it's the whole field.
You just got to make sure Hustad gets behind Ruckman here, and it looks like
I don't know why Hustad's not really slowing down here at all.
Field is all shuffled up.
But everyone's reversed, so Dustin Musial in the lead.
And we'll see what pit road does for these guys. I mean, you can't expect that 22, the 44. I think both of them have a little bit of damage. The 4, I think, is the one who's absolutely benefited from this the most at this point. Jim Westerfield seems to have a clean car.
I think so.
So he might have an opportunity.
He has a little front end damage himself. He
got the 55 of Chad Presnell. I mean, he's been known this season already for running out towards the front, and now he's in 4th position with a couple slow cars. Ooh, excuse me, a couple slow cars in front of him. So.
Yeah, well, as I said, you look at this field now. Jim Westerfield, David Wright, Dustin Musial are kind of the odd guys out in this field, and they're the 3 guys in the lead. David Wright does have a win this year at Daytona, but that's Daytona. Kind of snuck that thing out with the wrecks at the end there. Dustin Musial and Jim Westerfield. We don't know what Jim Westerfield can do. I mean, he had a good race in his debut last week, but
there goes that iRacing caution. These guys will officially have a chance to pit here now. First, they got to catch up to that pace car.
Well, I'm going to look at the front end of these cars. Musial's got a heavy damage on the front end. He's got a really damaged car. David Wright, slightly less front end damage than Jim Westerfield, a little bit less than him.
Yeah, he's got some scrapes down his outside.
Chad Presnell might have a tiny little bit of damage. I can't tell. His hood looks a little like something going on. Maybe he caught the wall on his right side a little bit. Jonathan Schwartz looks completely clean. Thomas Harmon, a little damage on the front end. Springer clean. Johnson clean. Ruckman clean. And Wade Hustad clean. So got a few damaged cars, and those top 3 are the most damaged out of all of them. So See what
Yeah, I
happens
think
here.
there will be a quick change up. Some of these guys might even elect to get a little bit of repairs while they're down on pit road, so they might end up forfeiting that position they just gained. But we'll see what happens. I expect the 4 to come out of pit road in first place after this. We'll see what happens, Mark.
Yeah, I think 4 is gonna be the one that stays up there. Musel and Wright probably gonna fall back a little bit, but who knows? Maybe they get no repairs and try to do something. This is a 20-lap shootout. I don't think they're gonna have anything though for these top guys. I mean, you got right behind. I mean, 4th place is gonna be Presnell, Schwartz, Harmon, Springer, Johnson, Ruckman, and Hustad. I mean, those are some pretty big names. Those are guys I would consider all-stars.
Yeah, we're gonna come down
Jim
here
Westerfield.
to
Jim Westerfield. Yeah,
the exit
Jim
of pit
Westerfield's
road.
raced his own race. So
Watch all these guys take their pit stalls.
Westerfield overshoots his stall a little bit, so that's going to cost him some time.
Looks like Ruckman might have slid through. Ruckman did slide through a little bit, so he's going to lose a little time on pit road, that's for sure. The 58 of Jonathan Schwartz gets in and out nice and quick. Dustin Musel took no repairs. He gets in and out nice and fast, 14.72. David Wright with a 15.09. Jonathan Schwartz with a 14.55. Definitely the best time on pit road. Harmon gets a 14.6. Mike Springer with a 14.8. Eric Johnson 14.7. And Marcus Ruckman, again, I mean, he's looking now at a 26.05 second pit stop after missing his pit stall there. So,
wow.
Ruckman definitely on the bad side of that.
Well, look who came out first. Musel and Wright. Westerfield fell back. So the guy we thought was going to come out first actually had trouble. He missed his stall a little bit. So Musel, Wright. Let's see who's after Wright here. Schwartz gains a position.
Yeah, thanks to the
Harmon
4
gains
there
position
of
as
Jim
well.
Westerfield
Gains
moving
2.
back. Same thing with Harmon, Presnell. Actually,
Presnell
Presnell
falls
got
back a
skipped
couple.
over, I think, by Harmon.
Yep. Yeah,
So
Presnell falls back a little bit.
he actually only ended up 1 position behind because he had
drops
the
position.
4 slower than him who was in front of him, but he also had the 68 of Thomas Harmon jump out in front of him. So same thing with Jonathan Schwartz. So he did lose
A little bit
one
of a shuffle
position on
here.
that.
Mike Springer. Here, let me bring it back up here where they finished.
And surprisingly enough, though, you've got Dustin Musel there and David Wright in 1st and 2nd position. I mean, obviously, Martin, if they had some repairs to get, they probably would have gotten them. They must have had everything repaired before now. And I know Charlotte, it's a 1.5 mile track, but aero can mean a little bit here. This is a very quick racetrack, so we'll see if that damage really affects them or not.
Yeah, so Wade Hustad gained 2 positions in pit road. Ruckman lost 1. Eric Johnson. Let's see, Eric Johnson gained 1 position. Mike Springer gained 1 position. Thomas Harmon was the one who gained probably the most. He would have been restarting 6th. He restarts 4th. Well, that's not a ton. That's 2 positions. Jonathan Schwartz, 5th to 3rd.
So not a whole lot of a shakeup here.
Yeah, not a huge amount of shakeup.
Jim Westerfield was the big story
Yeah,
there.
Jim Westerfield's the one. He went from 3rd to 9th. So basically right where he actually lost position from where he ended the stage. He ended the stage in 8th, had the shuffle up to 3rd, and then comes back out at 9th. So
Okay, so again, thank you to all of our viewers who have tuned in tonight. We have a gentleman named Jake in the chat who wanted us to say hi. Martin, you want to say hi to Jake? He asked us specifically to say hello to him. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in this evening. We are going to go back live for the last stage of this race here. It will be green flag laps are the only laps that count. They are going to run 20 of them. So if we do have a caution come out, those caution laps will not count towards that 20-lap total. But I don't know, Martin. I see the 22 and the 44 getting passed pretty quick here. Jonathan Schwartz and Chad Presnell and Thomas Harmon, really. I mean, Mike Springer, I want to say everybody in this friggin' field has a good chance of winning because this is an awesome set of drivers, and I expect these last 20 laps to be really exciting.
Well, as I said, it's like you got, of these 10 drivers, I think 7 of them are bona fide all-stars. David Wright, Dustin Musel, and Jim Westerfield. I mean, Jim Westerfield only has 1 DRL race under his belt, so not much to know there. It goes
he
3
might be
wide.
an upcoming all-star. You had Mike Springer jump outside of the 68 of Thomas Harmon there. I don't know
David
how
Wright
that
slow in front of
applies
Chad
to the
Presnell.
Dynasty Racing league rules or not. I don't know if they were past the green or past the start-finish line before he jumped out of line there, but that is against the rules here at the DRL. You do need to stay in line, so.
Well,
See if race control does
really
anything
matter.
about that. Jonathan Schwartz
What was
gets
that?
out to that nice, quick, early lead. David Wright's falling back significantly. Dustin
Yeah,
Musial hanging
still
on.
hanging out though. Yep. With that
Trying
damaged
to.
car, he's got the heavy damage. And Jonathan Schwartz, a nice gap now over Chad Presnell.
Look who's made their way to 5th already, Martin.
Yep.
The 32 at
Right
Hustad.
back in there.
Yeah, fighting his way back to the front. You know, that's the thing, is these tires are going to wear pretty quick. I know, you know, we talked to Hallis, I think, you know, pre-race. He said it's kind of actually, was it him or was it Burroughs? Who said it's just like a one-groove track after 10 laps or so. There's not really a second line to run. So Hustad's got to make up this ground, and he's got to make it up quick, or he might not get the opportunity to pass a couple of these faster guys at the end of this race.
Yeah, I know one thing that I saw, like with the B cars, is that people, once those tires started going, they would drive that high line, and you'd be able to kind of maintain your momentum a little bit better than the guys on low line. But
Martin, I don't know if you watched it. What lap are we gonna finish under here? When will we collect the checkered flag?
I think it's going to be 108. 108 or 109.
Let's
And
go
we'll see.
down
Well,
and
next time Hallis jumps over, I'll listen because he's been calling out.
yeah,
like,
I'm gonna go
15
down
to go, so.
trackside and pull Hallis in real fast and
Yeah,
see
see if he
what
can.
he thinks. Daniel Hallis, you got a copy, sir?
Yeah, 10-4.
Hey, things are looking good down there on the track, man. Great job on that last restart, getting everything ironed out. What lap are we finishing under? Like, when my counter jumps to which lap, is that the green or is that the checkered flag?
Stand by.
I think we've done 5 now. Or this is,
Oh.
yeah.
Wow,
109.
the 20 of Ruckman
109.
bounces off the wall there. So as soon as my ticker hits 109, that's when we're gonna collect the checkered flag here. We'll see if Hustad
Is
can
one-
fight his way back up there
Yeah.
to the front.
Well, just clarification. Is 109 the last lap, or is 109 like when we cross the line into 109 that the race is over?
It should be. We restarted on 89, so at 109 race is over. Like the completion of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the last. So,
So as soon as
109 is
my
the last lap.
Yeah, so
So
as soon
one-
as my
when
ticker
110
hits
rolls over,
110
that'll be
is
over,
when the race is over.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
109
Daniel,
will
good
be the
luck
white
down there
flag line.
tonight. Huge thanks to you guys for doing the race control. I know it hasn't been easy, but we definitely appreciate it putting on an awesome show for our viewers up here so far tonight.
Thanks, man. I hope the drivers are having much fun as the rest of us are watching this.
Hey, I don't know if I can move you to race control, but I'm going to try now, and yeah, we'll chat with you after the race, sir.
Yeah, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Schwartz, Hustad, Presnell, Harmon, and Johnson. Wade
Yeah,
Hustad.
I just want to throw out
got
there,
a way to
speaking
go.
of Schwartz, you know, that gap, you know, Schwartz might have just benefited too much from that inversion that we had, Martin. He's ran a 29.553 the last time around. Wade Hustad ran a 29.474, and now he's got some clean air in front of him, so he may post a better lap this time around, but I don't know, man. That's quite the gap to make up on a really good driver like Jonathan Schwartz.
Well, I think that, well, he's gained 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, he just gained another 10th just now, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think
Hustad might be able to get back up there.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had to fight through traffic a little bit. Jonathan Schwartz did too, but you did have those slow cars in Musial and Wright. Definitely Wright. Wright was really slow and kind of got in front of a group of those.
Well, if you think about it, Martin, Jonathan Schwartz on that last restart, he jumped out there to the lead almost instantly. I mean, within a couple corners, he was out in front. And Wade Hustad's running him down, and he's running him down quick. So Hustad fought through, you know, 7 other cars to get into the position that he's in right now. And he's still posting just slightly better lap times than Jonathan Schwartz. So we'll see if he has what it takes. I mean, we're talking, what do we got, 11 more laps to go?
Yeah, just about. I think so. Yeah, 11 laps. Didn't Jonathan Schwartz dominated Kansas, didn't he? Our first
He
mile
did.
and a half in a while, I think. But then he had the unfortunate set of circumstances with the pace car and that last yellow flag that forced him to stay out on old tires, and everyone else had fresh. So
he did dominate that entire race. I think he led 134 out of 200 laps or something crazy like that. So was very good there all night. Ends up with the 3rd place finish, and he's back with a vengeance this week, looking for that 1st place. So Hustad last time by ran a 29.944. Jonathan Schwartz with a 30.006. So how about
and that gap is shrinking.
Yeah, about half of a tenth.
Yeah.
Hustad's still catching him though.
Yeah, but he's got 10 laps. He's only got 10 laps though. At this point, I mean, yeah, at this point is.
I think we're looking for a mistake. I mean, you have 7 tenths to catch up. He's got to start catching him by at least a tenth per lap, and he's only catching him by about a half a tenth per lap. So almost a tenth that last time by. Hustad with a 21.963. Jonathan Schwartz with a 30.056. So, and it seems like just now maybe Schwartz made a little bit of a mistake. I think Hustad caught him on that back straight.
Yeah, I don't know if Schwartz is. I mean, he can't be trying to save anything or at this point. I mean,
no, it's literally just a mistake game at this point, Martin. He's going to look in his rearview mirror.
Or whatever.
I'm sure he's got those relative standings pulled up
in the corner of the screen,
and he's just seeing, how often is this guy catching me? And every time he sees a tenth tick by, he knows the clock is closing. So see if he lets it go to his head or not. As another 10th closer, Wade Hustad. This is going to be a race at the end of this. So long. I hope we don't get a caution here. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah. Well, if we get a caution, we get a tighter finish. We get a couple, 5 or 6 guys. Maybe we'll go 6 wide if you have a caution. But
yeah, back here in the back, we did have the field pretty much shook itself right back to where it was before that caution. I mean, Dustin Musel back in 10th, Jim Westerfield's back there, David Wright's back there. Mike Springer, surprisingly, is all the way back to 7th, and Chad Presnall wasn't able to keep the lead that he had over some of these faster guys out front.
Well, you were talking about Springer. Springer was the guy that kind of jumped that restart, yeah? Was that him or someone else?
I think that, yeah, it was. It was the 12 from Mike Springer.
Yeah, and it didn't really pay off for him because as soon as you were talking about that, he dropped back really fast to the back of the field. So I think in a normal race control would have come over and said something, but I think, Springer, it didn't really give him any advantage. He, in fact, lost all those positions and more that he gained on that.
Yeah, I think he just started to make that move as they came across the start-finish. So race control
it didn't look too crazy.
To be honest with you. Hustad still reeling in Jonathan Schwartz here. He was only half of a tenth faster last time, though, not a full tenth, and that's what he really needs at this point. I mean,
well, I remember that gap. That gap was like 0.602, and now the gap is 0.598. He's not gaining a ton of time there on the last few laps, so this might
got some work to do to earn that extra $20. Jonathan Schwartz doing a good job of holding them off.
Yeah, I think Jonathan Schwartz, barring any huge mistakes. I mean, we got, 4 laps to go? 3 laps to go here?
I don't even know if it's going to take a huge mistake. We're looking at a very tiny mistake.
Oh, yeah, a tiny mistake.
Here.
A tiny mistake, but as long as he, don't overdrive it because Hustad's not gaining enough time each lap.
Yeah, I mean
he has to gain over a tenth of a second.
I know these guys aren't right on each other's bumpers, but these guys they're so close in the line they're running. The time
he just fell back half a second there, or half a tenth of a second there.
Yeah, Wade Hustad must have made a tiny little mistake on that last lap. So again, I mean, mistakes will happen. Hopefully, Jonathan Schwartz doesn't think the race is over or something and slow up or anything before the race is actually finished with this.
Oh yeah, just keep racing, just keep going until you hear something. Because
until race control comes over and says, that's the checker.
All right, this is lap 108, so 2 to go, right?
Yep.
109 should be our white flag lap.
Exactly. We got about 1.5 laps left. They're coming down on the back straight, and they will collect the white flag on the way past.
I really hope race control comes over and tells those guys that, though, because they might not be doing the math and everything in their head. They're just driving the car and might be doing the math wrong.
Oh, that's definitely, you don't want to be doing the math. These guys are still full on the gas.
Just calls it white flag, white flag. White flag, Jonathan Schwartz with a 6 3/4
Looks like Eric Johnson comes down pit road. Maybe he said white flag, schmite flag. I'm all set. I'll take my
Yeah, I don't
10th
know.
place finish and be good with it.
I don't know if
And
he
Jonathan
just
Schwartz, after bad luck the last couple weeks, not able to put together a finish after dominating a few races, comes out tonight. And he's going to take the All-Star race at Charlotte.
Yeah, so he gets the bragging rights for winning the All-Star race. He gets $20. Wade Hustad also, though, collects $20 over the first 2 stages, so those guys will split the pot, basically.
Thomas Harmon so close tonight, all night long. He does get a 3rd place finish. Doesn't take home any cash, but another good showing by him. I mean, he's really proven himself since he's been back here with the DRL.
Yeah, we're going to see. I mean, we're going to see where some of these guys, I mean, Jim Westerfield, Dustin Musial. Dustin Musial's a playoff driver right now. David Wright's a playoff driver by virtue of that 1 win. And Jim Westerfield, I don't know if he'll be able to be eligible for the playoffs, but we'll see what he can do the rest of the season. I mean, he had I believe a top 15 finish, top 10 at Kansas with him and Matthew George in their debuts last week. So those are 2 guys we're looking forward to seeing how they do in the Cup Series, if they can be additional competition for these top guys like Hustad and Schwartz. And, you know, we talked about Hustad, Schwartz, and Harmon and Springer and Presnall that last stage. I mean, we didn't, you know, who's not out there? Eric Wolf didn't show up this week. And Anthony Burrows got cut in the first stage.
Yeah, that was ugly cut there. Missed it by 1 position, but.
And then Sean Hughes dropped out in that stage 2 and was cut. Sean Hughes was another guy we thought, I mean, definitely after that preliminary race would be a guy.
The standings are going to get shaken up just a little bit here tonight, guys. I'm not going to go through unofficial results as everything was done manually this evening. So I even know, like, right there at the end, some people got shuffled around based off who pulled off the track and who didn't. But
yeah, where the race actually ends.
Top 3, Jonathan Schwartz we did have come in first. Wade Hustad comes in second. Thomas Harmon finishes third. And like we said earlier, I mean, Wade Hustad captured those first two stints quite easily. Only reason he, in my opinion, I mean, really, he was quite a bit faster in the early parts of this last run, and he was slightly, very slightly faster than Mr. Schwartz at the end of this run. My opinion, I mean, if he would have started anywhere but 8th, you know, 5th or above, he probably would have been able to run Schwartz down for the win. So great racing by all of these guys tonight. Absolute pleasure to watch. Thank you to all of our viewers for tuning in this evening. We're going to go down to the track and get an interview with a few of these guys. Firstly...
All right. Well, I got to take a quick break, so you do your interview. I got to take a quick break. I'll be back in a few seconds.
Yes, sir. We'll see you then, Martin. I'm going to go down and let's see here. Who do we want to pull? Very firstly... still around. I want to try to grab him before. I'm going to try to pull in Marcus Ruckman and get a quick after that Grizzly pit stop. Marcus Ruckman, do you have a copy, sir? Mr. Ruckman, are you still around?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, man, seems like a pit stop might have screwed things up for you. I think, I don't know if it was netcode or not, you rubbed the wall once on that last green flag run, but that pit stop, man, you completely missed your pit box. Dissatisfied with the way the end of tonight went?
Yeah, I was having problems with my gas pedal. It was like flickering and sticking and doing some weird stuff. I don't know what the heck it was doing. So I decided on that last stop I would try to fix it. So that's why I was sitting there for a while. But yeah, I figured once I overshot it, I may as well try to fix it.
Right. So, I mean, this is the first race I think we've seen you this year. Are you doing the Road to Pro thing? Is that why you were able to make it out this week?
Yeah, they're doing Road to Pro next week. So I don't have to do that this week. That's why I was here tonight. It sounded like a lot of fun, so I figured I'd come on over.
Yeah, I know I see you in a lot of truck races. Do you race these Cup cars week in and week out? I mean, did you get practice at Charlotte this week?
No. Last time I've touched the Cup car was probably like Daytona or Talladega or something, and that doesn't really count in my opinion. So.
Oh, that's right. The Road to Pro is trucks right now, right?
Yeah, Road to Pro is trucks, and then you advance on to the Xfinity car.
Well, even when it's not trucks, Marcus, you seem to be pretty fond of the trucks in general, no?
Yeah, trucks are a lot of fun. I enjoy doing just normal C-fixed official races.
Yeah, I know I've caught you in a few of those. Well, hey, for not touching the Cup car, you did a pretty damn good job tonight. Thanks for joining us for the All-Star race, and hopefully you can get a few races in at least at the end of this season and maybe make it back for next year's All-Star.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me on. That was fun.
Not a problem, man. Have a great night. Well, now we're going to go up and let's see here. We're going to talk to Thomas Harmon. If I can find him real. There he is. Here, Mr. Harmon, do you got a copy, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, man, come away with a third place finish. Unfortunately, weren't able to cash in and win any of that beautiful prize pool this evening, but me and Martin were just talking earlier. I mean, you've shown yourself since coming back to the DRL. This winter, can I ask, what kind of work did you put in this winter? Have you really been putting a lot of time into iRacing, and why such the improvement between last year and this year? I mean, not that you were, I don't want that to sound bad, not that you were a bad driver last year, but, finding you in the top 10 consistently this year is a pleasant surprise.
To be honest, I really don't do much iRacing outside of my Sunday or my weekend leagues and Tuesday with DRL. And even at the beginning of this year, when I was racing in oval, I just couldn't. I was getting caught up in every wreck left and right, and I think my best finish was like 11th or something like that there. But come over here, and I got my win at Texas, and like I told other people who've been asking me what have I changed and whatnot. Nothing, just confidence and going out and having fun.
Yeah, it definitely can help things when you go out and have fun. I know you race in that Avril Lavigne car. I don't know if that's meant as, a fun thing for you if you're just an Avril Lavigne lover, but, a pleasure to watch you race, man. Tonight was great. I wish there was payouts for second and third position because you probably would have collected a couple times there, but you come away with the third place finish. What was it like racing Charlotte tonight? Was it as loose as it has felt to me this year? How much different is it from last year?
It for me, it's a completely different ball game because I like to run the high line there, and the car right now is just so tight on entry that the high line you can't use it, and it kind of forced me to low line for this race, which I'm not all that great with. But I would have loved to have been able to stay with Wade and Jonathan there at the end, but I don't have the experience down low to run with them.
Yeah, they were definitely quick tonight, especially Mr. Hustad. Anyway, congrats again on the third place finish. I expect to see you back again next week. You're quickly making your charge. You do have the win now, so long as you show up to 80% of our races, so you will be in the playoffs. But you got a shout out you want to give to anybody this evening?
Yeah, Molnar for sponsoring the series. DRL for, like I said, previously allowed me to race, and Avril being on the car, obviously, and S2R for allowing me to be on the team.
Awesome,
and you guys
Thomas.
up in the booth as well.
Hey, thanks, man. We appreciate it. You have a wonderful night, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you. You as well. Oh, one nice thing. I got to give a big thanks to my spotter. I've been a jerk and kind of been leaving him out, but Dimitri Smith, he's been spotting for me the whole season here so far, and he's done a great job, and I think he's a big part of why I've improved as well.
Well, there you go. Big shout out to Demetrius. Way to go. You've definitely helped Thomas. Maybe all the special stuff that's been going on with you lately is all his fault.
We can hope.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Now we're going to pull in Wade Hustad and get a nice little chat with him. Mr. Hustad, do you have a copy, sir?
I sure do, Ryan.
Hey, man, you were able to go out there and grab a couple stage victories. Couldn't quite finish it there at the end. I know you had a lot of positions to fight through. Did it even cross your mind tonight, to maybe give up a position or two to maybe change up the standings a little bit afterwards, or were you just trying to gain what you could on pit road and take it as it came?
Yeah, I was definitely going to shoot to get position on pit road. I was kind of looking at some others. Jonathan had kind of dropped back. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but there's definitely some strategy going into that or at the end of the second segment. But overall, being up front, I was just going to go for it, get the stage wins and deal with the cards that were dealt after the fact. I was hoping for a yellow to bunch us back up, and I think that would have gave us a shot, but we took what we got. We had a good run, kept the car clean, raced everybody clean. Got to thank Jonathan. Hats off to him for the win tonight in the All-Star race for the Molnar Automotive Cup Series, but it was definitely a good time out there. I'm looking forward to next week.
Awesome, man. You've been dominant. You lead the point standings, and you came out and proved why you deserve to be in the All-Star race. So I already punched your ticket for next year's All-Star race. Anything that you'd like to see improved or changed for next year's All-Star race? I mean, how do you think things went tonight?
They actually went pretty smooth. The only thing I noticed was I kind of ran short on fuel that second run, and I was just trying to play as far as, capitalizing on my pit stop speeds or times. I ran a little close. Honest to God, I have to give it to everybody. They did a great job in getting everybody inverted and back onto pit road, and I had about 0.4 of a gallon left after this end of that second stage, so it was definitely close. I liked how it went. I don't know if they want to do pit stops next time and then the inversion. I think that'd be pretty fun. But again, I like the format. It was a great time, and maybe down the road as iRacing kind of upgrades and change some things, we can do stage racing with some of the other events that we have.
Yeah, hopefully that comes up with iRacing. I actually live in the state of New Hampshire, and iRacing is located right out of Massachusetts. I thought a few times about just driving down to their office and being like, "Why don't you give us these options?" But
go down there and speak for all of us, man.
I'm gonna try to. Hopefully, we get enough viewership here at the Dynasty Racing League where we actually have some say in the matters. But congratulations again on your second place finish tonight. You want to give a shout out to anyone before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank James, Martin, you, Ryan, everybody involved at the league. It's been a blast so far. But just overall, I can't thank you guys enough. This is such a fun league to be a part of. I definitely enjoy it. For me, I have other obligations in life. So this is kind of my getaway. I don't get on here to do official racing or any of that stuff. I wish I could practice more, but I will definitely take this. It's a lot of fun. I couldn't ask for anything more.
Well, we don't want you to practice anymore, man, because then you'd be the new Anthony Burroughs, and we don't need all of that.
Yeah, this car, it's still a learning curve, but it seems like I do well when I don't practice at all, and when I do practice or win a race, I end up getting wrecked, 3-4 weeks in a row. So we'll take it as it comes. I mean, we're locked into the chase. We're hoping to have a good start to that. It's still a ways away yet, but there's a couple tracks we're going to hit up here that will be included in the chase. So we're going to take some notes from that and hopefully move on and move into the championship and hopefully get the win.
Yeah, definitely want to get a little practice at those tracks ahead of time and be ready for them when the chase rolls around. Well, congrats again, man, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll see you guys tomorrow in the truck race. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, sir. Let your buddy Chad Presnall know he had a great run this evening, too. Good to see you guys racing together every week.
Yeah, man, we have a blast. Both him and I love this league so much. So we appreciate everything you guys do. And of course, for us as drivers, we're just driving. You guys put in the effort, and Dynasty Racing League, I can't say enough about it.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful night.
You too. Thanks, guys.
All right. Last but not least, if he's still here after these long-winded interviews, we're going to pull Jonathan Schwartz in our race winner. Jonathan Schwartz, do you have a copy, sir?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Hey, man, it took us a couple minutes to get to you there. You put a whole race together. You ended up winning tonight, huh?
Yeah, finally.
No go.
I know it
really
hasn't
cool
it hasn't come together for you these last couple weeks, but Husted was slowly catching you. He caught you fast at the beginning of that last run, but he had some traffic to fight through, and he was barely catching you towards the end, but you were able to hold him off. Did you do everything you could to avoid looking in the rear view towards the end of that race?
Oh no, I was constantly looking at the rearview mirror, just seeing where he was at on the tracker, and I knew he was fast all night, and the first few laps we could stay pretty even with each other, and I noticed once I started maybe pulling away maybe a tenth or so the last couple laps, I pretty much had it bagged there. So really cool to race with these guys every week, and first All-Star race, first win in the Cup Series, these guys. So Would have been better if it was a points race, but I'll take an all-star race win for sure.
Hey man, you win an all-star race and you win $20 in iRacing credit. I don't know how many more tracks or cars you have left to buy, but I guess it wouldn't hurt to at least buy a modified or a dirt car or a track or two. So congratulations again on first place this evening, man. How'd you feel about the format and stuff? I asked the same question to Wade Hustad. Do you feel this is Dynasty Racing League's first all-star race? From a viewership standpoint, it felt like it went really well. Were things good with you down there on the track?
Yeah, everything from my view turned out to be better than I expected. It was a little confusing getting the format down at the beginning of the race, but once we got going here, it was pretty simple to follow, and Daniel House did a great job at getting us all in order and not taking up too much time while pacing. So the race was a lot of fun, and looking forward to the many years of hopefully same format. Even if little changes happen, that's perfectly fine. It's just gonna grow the league. So
yeah, we just talked to Hustad about hopefully, this time next year they'll have stage racing put into iRacing, and actually, even if they don't put it into the official format because the races aren't long enough, at least give us the option to do it under the league. So that would be great. I just, again, congrats on your first place finish. Any other words you have for our viewers or shout outs you want to give this evening?
Definitely want to thank you guys for coming out and broadcasting for the league every week, and guys over at DRL putting on a great show for everybody, and company that I work for, of course, Cortland Hearth and Hardware, for everything they do for me. My family at home, my girlfriend who watches every week, and great job on the broadcast every single week. Looking forward to the next few races.
Yeah, man, we definitely appreciate the compliments. Whoever is watching in your family, hopefully it spreads and everybody starts to watch the Dynasty Racing. There is a lot of work that goes into this, and we appreciate you guys showing up every week and putting all you've got into it. I know there was a little extra incentive this evening. You get to leave with a little cash in your pocket, but that's why you come out in the first place. I mean, great racing, way better than racing in an official race, and at the end of the year, there's a payout too. So thanks for showing up. Congrats again on first place finish, and I hope to see you back again next week.
Thank you, guys. It's definitely a blast.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good night.
You too.
Well, Martin, that is it for this evening. We're going to pull up the next race of this current series. I got to hide some stuff here. As you guys can see on the screen, we kind of still have this race is still ongoing, again, because of the format we had to do tonight. So next Tuesday night, we are going to be right back here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And it's going to be 200 laps. I mean, it's a lengthy race here in the Cup Series. It's going to be ridiculously exciting. I can't wait to get into the action next week. It's going to be fun, and we're going to see some of these same guys come right back out next week. We're going to have some guys we didn't get a chance to see tonight because they either didn't get an opportunity to show up or they didn't qualify for it. So, Martin, do you have anything for our viewers this evening?
This next week's gonna be fun. I mean, what do we got? Well, tomorrow we have the trucks.
Yeah, I just pulled that graphic up on the screen here. We got 134
We're doing 200
laps.
200 miles. Yeah, 200 miles.
Yeah, so this is, I think, a full length race. It's a full length race for the truck series.
Full length truck race.
We did insert that, and if anybody is watching from the league or anybody who would please tune in tomorrow night, these guys are racing for a prize pool again tomorrow night. So that was announced just earlier on behalf of myself and, in honor of Memorial Day and all of our veterans and active duty personnel in the military that fight for us to be free and have a chance to come on here and do what we do every day. I've included a prize pool. So first place, and this is to points drivers only. So first place for the points tomorrow is going to win $15 in iRacing credit. Second place is going to get $10, and third place is going to get $5 in iRacing credit. So again, I mean, tomorrow night we got 40 drivers right now that are signed up to attend tomorrow evening in the trucks. a little easier to handle than these Cup cars were tonight, but at the same time, they can get loose on you real quick. So it's going to be an awesome race tomorrow night, and I can't wait.
Yeah, so we got that tomorrow, and then we have the Grand National Charlotte 225. That's 150 laps on next Monday.
Yes, sir.
And then of course we got the Great Lakes.
Yeah, that's the Great Lakes Forest Products Incorporated 300 at Charlotte next Tuesday night. So
that's half length. That's half of that 600. I mean, we're not going to do the whole thing. I mean, 600 is pretty long.
That's definitely. I don't think anybody wants to sit here and watch
the
for 4
trucks.
hours.
Yeah, trucks, and then trucks next week. We don't have any race. Actually, next 2 weeks we're off, but then we do have another. I think we're doing another full length, or no, it's not full length. It's 75%, but 75% of the Texas 400 is the Texas 300. So that's gonna be a really long one for the trucks. Actually,
yeah, that's the longest race in the truck series in their regular season. I went 75%. I'm the admin for the truck series. I went 75% on that race, but I did add in a couple full length races like the Charlotte tomorrow night. Yeah. So definitely some exciting stuff coming up for the truck series. I will be broadcasting tomorrow night, as far as I know. So you guys will actually see me back here tomorrow evening. I know I have next broadcast flyer as David Wellborn and Taylor Butcher Benjamin. I think because of the prize pool and just to give David a chance to take a night off because he puts so much into this league every week, I think I will be back again tomorrow night to broadcast that. I don't think Martin will be joining me. He's still racing in the truck series, but after my abysmal finishes,
$15.
Dude, my abysmal finishes the last few weeks, I'm all set with the truck series. I think I'm going to go to helping out with the league and race controlling and broadcasting to you guys on Tuesday
going up
nights.
To the booth.
And yeah, you guys will see me occasionally in a cup race here and there, maybe at restrictor plate tracks, and maybe I'll join. I might join the cup race at Watkins Glen because I actually really do like the cup cars there. So. But regardless, I want to say thank you to everybody involved with the Dynasty Racing League. I'm going to pull these credits up for you guys.
Okay, they called it off. 1 to go.
James Pandolf, Tater Bowman, the owners of the league, for just keeping everybody on track. It really is a team effort. I mean, we have these guys kind of listed in this tier over here: James, Tater, Martin, Jordan, myself, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, David Wellborn, Getty Buckner, Daniel Hallis. Every name I just mentioned puts in so much effort to this league every week and talks about all these races after every race. And we are constantly making rule changes and changes to formats. And the fact that, these guys put together this all-star race in the format that we operated in tonight and showed up to race control it and make sure that everybody's in the right place at the right time is just been an absolute pleasure. Big thanks to Eric.
Yeah, that was definitely a lot of Daniel Hallis there. I don't know. I think, for sure, Daniel Hallis, I think for both the races, the Grand National and this one, just setting up and figuring out how to go about rearranging the field and all that stuff. It's like I had no, as I said, we came in and it's like he's telling us how it's working. I'm like, oh, okay. And then when they, and they were able to pull off, like I said, that after stage 1, that was the hard one, really. Because after stage 2, you're reversing the whole field.
Right.
But that first stage, or going into stage 2 with that flipping the field, you're only flipping the top 5, and then you're flipping 8 through 15. And
we got lucky on those last 2 stages where we didn't get a caution. That would have confused things a bit because
then we had to
green flag laps only were the only laps that counted. So
start counting on our toes and everything. And
And lastly, but not leastly on these credits, Eric Weatherholtz, thank you for putting together the Dynasty Racing League IndyCar series. I know we don't bring that to you on DRL TV as of yet.
It's
going to be
coming, It's working, and Getty Buckner is really pushing for that. I don't know if he's going to be broadcasting or if he's going to stay out in the cars, but I hope that it gets off the ground. I mean, that's something kind of started as the season was already going, so that's why it's not really full in. I mean, like we said, last year we started with the Cup Series and we didn't even run a full schedule.
and now we've got 3 full schedules.
3 full series, and then Eric Weatherholt's like, hey, I want to do some Indy, and it's like, okay, but
so we added that on. We almost added in a dirt series. This winter we're actually going to a road course series. So who knows what's to come for DRL? I mean, I think Getty's working on it significantly. We had a few
definitely.
What do you call them? what am I trying to say? Surveys the last few weeks,
polls,
trying to
surveys,
see,
yeah.
who wants to do what, and I think we're working on that, a road course series for the Winter Series this year, and who
I
knows?
think-
I mean, you might see a cup, a Grand National, a truck, an Indy, a dirt, and a road next year. Who knows?
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, I think there might become a point where we might have races all 7 days of the week, and might be broadcasting something every day on DRL TV. And
Hey man, that's I'm moving into that broadcast mode. I'm trying to make all the money.
oh yeah, you might hear Ryan Branch every night, but yeah, I mean, some of them it's like I see like the Indy, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to do that. It's like I'd have to buy that car, or the road ones always seem kind of interesting. There's some, I mean, I know there's people, and that's the thing. I mean, I think with the Indy series, the reason it hasn't taken off, as big yet, exploded yet, is because it's a little bit of a different thing.
Well,
Especially if you
it's
have
not
more-
only is a different thing, but it costs money. I mean, a lot of these guys came
Well,
on here for
it's like you
NASCAR
just-
racing. They've bought
Yeah.
most of the NASCAR tracks,
exactly.
but they don't own the Indy car. They don't own any of the Indy road courses, and
Mhm.
things.
That's
Even
exactly
even
it.
some of the Indy ovals, like Twin Ring Motegi. There's no reason for anybody in NASCAR to have bought in that track, but it is an
And that's
oval,
exactly
and
the
it's
thing.
an amazingly fun oval to drive in the Indy car. So.
And that's, I think, what's going to happen is that there is going to either be more, they're going to go towards tracks that a lot of the NASCAR guys will have, and maybe do a lot of those road courses on there, like Charlotte and Daytona has a road course, I think, and all those things where you have those options. Or it's going to, and I've said this to Getty and Eric a lot, it's like that once it gets off the ground, you're now going to have people coming directly in just to do Indy. They're gonna come in and directly do those things.
They are.
Once you broadcast. I mean, look at our league here. Every week, it seems we have a brand new, fresh face. I mean, we have the rookie plaque. It seems almost everyone in the league is a rookie right now because we have added so many new drivers. And next season is when it's going to get interesting, because then you're going to see, okay, here are all the drivers who were here the past year and the past 2 years, and now here are some actual, true, really new faces, and hopefully won't be half the field or more like it is right now. But so far, a lot of these guys that have come in this year have been a great surprise, but great additions. I mean, Wade Hustad, Jonathan Schwartz, those guys, Eric Johnson, almost everyone in this All-Star race are new faces.
Yeah, majority of them, and the ones who weren't kind of got knocked out early. So,
Yeah.
we've drawn this thing out a little longer than originally expected in the first place, considering the preliminary race that took place this evening. Thank you again to all of our viewers for tuning out. Congratulations again to Jonathan Schwartz, Wade Hustad, and Thomas Harmon for the 1-2-3 finish there. $20 to Hustad for those first two stages. $20 to Schwartz for ending the race in first place. And Martin, you got anything else for our viewers before we head out for this evening?
No, come check out the race tomorrow and all weekend over this Memorial Day weekend. We got Charlotte, all the next 3 races here: Trucks, Grand National, and Cup.
Yeah, Martin,
be a good time.
I'll be rooting for you tomorrow night, Martin.
Yeah, I'm looking for that $15. I think I won. No, I won a Richmond race in the trucks.
That's my $15. I'll be
good at
pulling you
Charlotte.
in for an interview or two and trying to put that broadcaster's curse on you at least once tomorrow night. So.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's like I'm looking for at least a top 10, at the very least.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys.
Those standings.
Yeah, slowly but surely, right?
Yep.
All right, boys and girls, have a great night. We will see you back. I'll be back again with you tomorrow evening, and me and Martin both back here next Tuesday night. Have a great one.
Yes, we will.
And this is Ryan and Martin. We're signing out.
See ya.